Good evening, Cryptid fans. I apologize. We're just a little late getting started. Of course, that's every week. So
My
why
fault. My fault.
it's all Jeffrey's fault. And I'll tell you why it's Jeffrey's. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's okay, Flatrock. We understand.
Yeah, Flatrock didn't realize that he wasn't in backstage.
He was all signed in and everything, but he forgot to click enter studio. So
Yeah.
it's okay.
And
That's it.
Good.
public service announcement for everyone in chat asking about the duck. It's fine. I found it the next morning. The
Yes, the duck is alive and well.
duck is alive.
Alive and well. So yeah, chat's doing good. Wow, numbers are jumping up very quick. So
Yeah,
all
I
good.
already
We
saw
do
that
have
last week,
another.
Flat Rock. The duck was waking everybody up in the yard. They had like wandered up during the show. I could hear them. I don't know if anybody else heard them, but they were
Strike
basically
1,
on
2,
the
3,
porch.
Jeffrey. Next time I'm going to mute you. I'm just kidding. Our third guest will be with us here shortly, hopefully, and we really don't have a topic other than gee, I guess it'll be Bigfoot tonight. What do you think? But I Fat Rock has something that he caught, I guess, back. What did you say in January? I guess or something.
Yeah,
You just found
January.
it.
Yeah.
He just pulled the video last night. If he wants to talk about that,
Well, it's just an audio.
Yep.
But just for a teaser, we all hear names being called out in the woods, right?
sure.
You hear all these stories that their name got called out. Well, I caught a recording of a name being called out.
Oh man, that's
Oh.
awesome. Awesome. Can't wait to hear that.
And don't go that direction if you hear it.
Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Unless your Bigfoot buddy is going to go anyway, right?
Right. I think me and Bud both would. Let's go, Bud.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
He's afraid of nothing.
No, I'm afraid. It's good to be scared.
That's okay. I'll keep the truck running.
So I guess really anything else exciting going on down around the property, Flat Rock, or
Not really. I mean, I had some growls I captured back in February that I'm having cleaned up professionally. I mean, I can play that tonight as well. But February was the last big thing that happened here. February 27th was the last big thing that happened here.
yeah, we'd definitely love to hear him. That's for sure.
Now,
Yeah.
Flat Rock, did you do any more work with that one that sounded like something dying or whatever it was?
Growling? Well, that's the one I was telling you about just a second ago.
Okay.
Growling. Yeah.
Yeah, that is
That's the one
crazy.
being professionally done.
That one is nuts.
Yeah.
That is.
I've heard a lot of animals and I have no clue what that is.
I know what it is, but
Yes.
I won't say it.
When I'm saying I don't know what it is, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Something you hear often. I'm sure he knows.
Not,
Yeah.
nothing we're supposed to hear.
Right.
Exactly.
It's impressive. You get a lot of audio down there. That's awesome.
Yeah, I do get a lot of audio. That I do.
Very impressive. How about Ohio, Bigfoot Bud? I don't know whereabouts in Ohio you are. Are you around the Hocking Hills area or?
Yeah, I'm about 25 minutes from Hocking Hills, but me and the wife we don't go to we like to go more to private land. Is every time it seems like we go to Salt Fork or Hocking Hills, it seems like there's 2 or 3 other groups out there. So yeah, we don't do too much in Ohio actually. In West Virginia, and we've got a couple good spots, and then Flat Rocks. It don't get any better than Flat Rocks.
Nope.
And plus we go with a little mini group of us, and I mean we have such a great time with them, Joe and Pat and Jody, Joe Buck, and Joe Parker, Pat Harrison, and in Flat Rock we just have such a great time, and every time we go, my wife tells Flat Rock, say, "Hey, we're going for shrimp and grits."
That's it.
There you
Simple
go.
and
Yeah. But my wife actually has had her first sighting done at Flat Rocks last year from about 25 feet.
Yep.
So she seen more of the silhouette, but yeah, scared her to death.
I've been up on your channel, Bud, and that's some pretty cool stuff in that air fight off. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. Jeff, did you catch any more about the Bigfoot and Gettysburg deal?
Not yet. I've been all over the
About
place
it.
with stuff.
Okay.
I haven't gotten around to it.
And I see there's something was just released, I guess, or just posted. I think Mark shared from here in Maryland, in Northeast, near the peninsula area.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Your thoughts?
You're talking
have
about
you
the
not-
video?
Yeah. Have you not watched it yet? Or I haven't either.
I watched part of it. I didn't finish it yet. I started to today, and then I got called and had to go. It's just been.
I understand. I know how your phone is.
I haven't been able to, get battened down on one particular thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I might try to watch it tonight after the show if it ain't too late. So it's a cool deal. Anyway, we know we got a I guess you can call it a meet and greet or a camp out coming up here in a couple weeks at the show, State Forest, with Mary Fabian and the crew.
Yep.
And I know you and Bigfoot Bud are going, and I'm going to try to go. It's gonna be tough.
I'd love to go, but it's just too far for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely for you guys.
And I think Chad and Eric are going to be out this way around Memorial Day.
They plan to be, yeah.
They're planning on it.
Cedar Creek's coming up later in the year.
Cedar Creek's going to be, Mark and Becker are going to be traveling across the country.
Yeah, they're going to Virginia, going to Spencer's first, then they're coming up this way, and then we're going to take them over.
Yeah, in October.
Gettysburg, yeah.
They're probably going to come up through us and then probably go to Gettysburg.
Yep. So, yeah, he'll have fun out in Gettysburg. There's plenty to do there. For sure. David,
Yes.
how's Oregon?
Oregon's rainy and windy, but good.
You in the club. We didn't get no rain today, but it definitely got windy and cold. It turned cold here again. So,
It's cooled down here pretty good since that rainstorm come through yesterday.
It's we got one night. It's supposed to get down to like 20s or something, Jerry, this week, or did it already do that?
I think last night and tonight's the two cold nights, and then after Wednesday, after Wednesday, it's supposed to get back up a little bit. It'll only be down to 40s at night. 20s tonight, I know that. It's going to have
Billy says it's going to be 27 there tonight.
Yeah, that's about the same here, I think. Something like that. Okay.
Time to start putting manure on the fields.
Stinky. Won't be long. I'll be putting corn in her.
Well, what we'll do is we'll pile it all up once we clean the pit out, and they'll come through and cut the cover crop, and then come right in behind them and start spreading.
All right.
Because we bale some of that for forage bales.
10-4.
It's too time consuming for us to do all of our baling anymore, so we pay somebody. Not to mention the fact that baler we have will not keep up with
Right.
what we got to do.
Yeah. Freeze warning in North Alabama tonight. Wow.
Oh wow.
Man.
Well, I guess
stays up in North Alabama.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Okay, well, how about if you have those files, were you going to play those files, Flatrock?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and play this one.
Sure.
When I come across it today or last night, I had already marked it because I knew I heard something that night. So I opened it up today on my SD card, and it really surprised me what I'm hearing on it. But what it's doing, it calls out my son's name, basically. You know, we call our son Little Kenny, and that's what you're going to hear.
Oh,
Little something in the woods saying Little Kenny.
turn my volume up a little bit.
Wow.
Let me turn my speaker on. All good. Back it up. Oh,
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Let me play it again. Hold on.
Isn't that something? That's amazing.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. That is literally crazy.
Lil King.
Yeah, it's no
Little-
mistaken. No mistaking
Yeah,
that.
there's no mistaking on that one.
What
that
time
just
was that
blows
taken?
my mind. Say it again, Jeff.
What time was it taken? Like nighttime?
11:35, January 23rd, 11:35 at night.
Wow.
Well, that's not weird at all.
No.
The time is good because that's anything I've had happen here has been in that time frame. Even over at the state park. Yeah.
Well, that
Photo.
snoring I caught was at like 12:05 or something. It was when I was laying in that hammock.
I don't want to be in no hammock when them things are around.
No.
I had a can of hairspray in there, but
Hairspray and a lighter.
Yep, there you go.
I figured I'd give me enough time to get to one of the shotguns.
Out there's when you need just a cowboy up. Sleep with it.
Yeah.
Yep. What I thought was interesting about that Flatrock was that it had the sound of like the recorded whoops.
Yeah.
That's what was interesting
Yeah.
to me.
Now I put it on spectrogram, and the hertz level is below 500 on this thing. So it's no human. It's a straight line. So it's no human. Absolutely none. You know what it is? I don't know. I don't know if it's just a regular EVP or one of them creatures, but that's freaky hearing your son's name being called out. It's freaky.
Yeah.
Well,
Have
you always,
you ever caught like them calling names before?
Yeah. I've had my name called out. It sounded like my mom calling my name.
Oh,
I went
wow.
over there to see what she wanted. She was in another county grocery shopping,
Oh, wow.
but that
Oh,
was
that's
her
right, I
voice
do
that I
remember
heard. Yeah, that was her voice I heard.
Wow.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I think I ever heard of one doing that, I remember Coonbo talking about somebody having some sort of situation like that where they were out working on something and he went and picked up lunch or something and said, "Hey, I got the cheeseburgers." And then he comes back a couple days later, he's in the same spot and he hears his voice from the
Yeah.
bushes going,
Yep.
"I got the cheeseburgers." I'm not going looking for that bag of cheeseburgers. I can assure you.
Kraken, yeah, I do consider Boo my son as well. He's a dog, but I consider him my son. Yes, sirree.
I can vouch for
dog,
that.
That dog takes care of me. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you've ever heard your pets, called before.
Well, we've had a dog killed out here. My brother's dog got killed.
I remember you saying something about that.
What kind of dog was it?
He was a bulldog, old English bulldog.
Yeah.
Dang.
Must have tried to tangle with the wrong critter.
Well,
Well,
what it
hey,
is,
Flatrock, tell him Boo was right there with him, wasn't it?
yeah, Boo was right there
Yeah.
with them. They went,
Yeah.
they went in the woods. I mean, this is when it first all started. They went in the woods. I mean, we knew about them, but they went in the woods to use the bathroom, but they never come back. And eventually, we went looking for them, yelling out their name, and we just couldn't see them. But we got around this curve where we call it high grass area, and we yelled out their name again, and we seen Boo stick his head up, and then he dropped right back down. We got over there to him before he'd even moved. So, was he surrounded by them? I don't know, but he was scared to death where he wouldn't move out of that position until we got right there on top of him.
Paranormal activity, yeah. Cut off the chat.
Flatrock, could you play it again?
Yes, sir.
He still showed his eyes.
One more time.
Yeah, I can hear it. There's distinctive. To me, it is. Little Kenny. It's amazing.
It's definitely saying Little Kenny.
Yep.
Yeah.
I won't argue that. I won't argue that for 1 second. No way.
Yeah,
That's what I'm hearing.
yeah. And if you want me to, I'll play that other.
Yeah,
That
but
other,
you play what you want to play,
oh,
Flat
yeah.
Rock. This is your baby, man.
Let me find it here. Let's see.
I can't get Bud to talk, so it's all you, Flat Rock.
No, yeah, I won't interrupt. I'll just answer when I'm asked. Grandpa always said, shut up and listen, and you learn more.
Let me find my folder. Audio. Open.
I was laughing about that.
Now, it's a little staticky, as y'all know.
Okay.
So, but I go from there. Let's see, where's the wave file? There it is. Whoops, hold on. I boo-booed. I boo-booed. Let me put this down. There we go.
Your shape shift. I don't want to hear that.
Wow.
Oh, it's gonna keep going. That's food. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, Flatrock sent that to me, and the first thing I could think of was either something is injured or pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, and I ain't real familiar with bears or hogs up here. We don't have them, so I have no idea. So,
Yeah, I went and tried to debunk it. I went and tried to debunk it with bears,
yeah,
hogs, and gators. You know, that's the only three things that's got that kind of tone to it. And of course, it ain't near three of them. So that only leaves one other thing that makes that done that. Because David, I asked you about the bears.
Yeah.
yeah.
To me, I mean, I'm not no, pro at anything.
But we know
to
that ain't a
me,
bear,
I
though.
didn't think it sounded like a bear.
No, me neither. Nobody does.
Yeah. I've heard them huff and pop their teeth and growl, and they have a roar even. Like if you shoot them, they'll roar at you a little bit, and that's a total distinct sound that you have. I haven't heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Matter of fact, Miss Pat's got that.
I'm sorry, Flatrock. Didn't Blue Eye Northern get something like that too?
Yeah.
Now, did she get that
like
down there at your place or Holland's when she got hers?
Here.
Okay,
I think it was here.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But whatever it is, that's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
David's asking if you know what time that was recorded. That last one you played.
I believe it was 10 something when that happened. Let me see.
Same time we have activity.
I got the time. Hold on. Let me open this folder and I'll tell you real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, while we're waiting for that, we've got special guests
at 10
backstage.
Yep. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
It was on February 27th at 10:27 p.m.
10:27 p.m. Okay. Mark Green, welcome.
Hey, now how y'all doing tonight?
How's it going, Mark?
Brother Mark.
Good.
Some of the game. Yeah, we just talked to you, Mark.
Well,
Everybody was asking, who is it? Who is it? I ain't telling nobody.
yeah, how's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, I just
Good.
got back from council meetings.
Oh,
Hope
boy.
everybody's doing okay.
Doing good.
Yeah,
doing
I'd have to
good.
ask the boss. She'll tell me how I'm doing.
I'd be scared to death to go to a council meeting in this freaking county. This state.
Where's Jeff done run off to?
He fell asleep and fell off the chair, I think.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
There's old milkman, egg man.
Something always going on around here, you know.
I know.
Yep.
No.
And we've been listening to some audio there from Flatrock's place. Pretty neat stuff. That first one you played, it's wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. To actually hear her name.
That's good audio.
Yeah. That's clearly a name.
That's clearly a name, and it's Little Kenny. That's the name. That's what we call our son, Little Kenny.
Yeah.
When's the last time your son was there, Flatrock? How long's it been?
It was before Christmas.
Was it?
Yeah, but that was during the daytime. He didn't go out. He didn't go out near the woods anywhere. That was about the last time before Christmas. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Well, that's kind of good. You caught that in February. That's what, a month or two after Christmas there.
Yeah. Yep.
Mark, what's going on down in your neck of the woods?
A little cool tonight. Been a little
It's
chilly
chilly here. Yeah.
I've been getting some phone calls in the last few weeks. I got to go to some properties and check them out and see what's going on. And so it's kind of got interesting in the last few weeks. You just have to go see what they got and talk to them and see if they're willing to talk, more with me about it and what they got, and we'll go from there. That's all I can really say. But I know Mr. Paul Frazier was down at Hollins about, be almost a week and a half ago now. I think he come up with a couple of good audios, and the Camping with Sasquatch guy, I think he's got some audio, but I hadn't heard back from Martin. I need to talk to him and see what all they caught down there at Hollins.
Yeah, he was down there for a couple of days, wasn't he, Mark?
Yeah, they stayed Sunday through Friday.
Yeah, about a week.
So close to it. They was actually very quiet, but there was some different things that went on at different times, and I went and sit with Martin on that Friday night. And me and him heard something. It sounded almost like a roar to us, and he's supposed to, when he gets time, look through his audio and maybe slow it down. We'll see what that was. But
now, where is he from, Mark? You and I talked about this, but I can't remember.
Yeah, Florida. Yeah, he went and spent a few days with Pat and Joe. And so I hadn't really got to talk to none of them to see how everything went. I think he stayed over there 4 or 5 days, I think. I think they carried him around, the national forest and stuff over in Louisiana.
I think he's been on V's show before. I think he's been on there before.
Yeah, I'm going to get him on, him and Paul, when I get a chance. I done that little live with them from Hollins, but when I get a chance, I'm going to get each one of them on and go a little more in depth, stuff they've seen and encounters and stuff like that. And Martin is real big into audio. And Paul is too. Both of them's real big in audio. And so, they ought to have some interest and stuff.
Yeah, I want to play around with that stuff. I want to get more knowledgeable about that audio too, audio stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to too.
I don't know how many hours of audio to go through.
Oh,
yeah.
Who knows? I might have something on there, but
yeah, I'd set up my camera back here for or my recorder, I'm sorry, for 23 hours. And I'm like, I really don't feel like listening to this whole thing.
No, that gets time consuming there. That gets time consuming.
that's why I started marking my audios so I don't have to go through all those hours and hours and hours of listening to them.
Now, do you use that Audacity? Is that what you use?
I'd use Adobe Audition.
write that down.
Is that easier than that Audacity?
Yeah, a lot easier than Audacity. A lot easier. Got more stuff to it as well.
What's it called again, Flatrock?
Adobe Audition.
Audition. Okay. I'll check that
Yeah,
out.
I always listen. I listen to it second by second with a notepad. So
Yeah.
Write down time stamps.
Yeah, there's a lot of little light sounds that you would miss if you use a program. But I mean, yeah, I know what you guys are saying. It does. Oh man, I mean, in between, doing the housework for the old lady. I mean, the young lady. But I sit back and just listen to the tape second by second with a pencil and a pad. And
I almost thought about doing that when I'm at the house. Just listening to it because you could miss something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I've caught that wouldn't show up on, like a big jump or whatever they call them things. So, but yeah, I mean, it takes a while to listen.
Is I'm so technologically unadvanced about the only thing I use a computer for is to order guns and ammo.
That's what I'm good for.
Oh, your milk.
You know, in case you don't know, my wife's the smart and pretty one of the couple, and I'm just a brawn.
Ah, Misty. Yeah, I got to learn Audacity. I mean, I know it's a decent program, but let me ask you this. I mean, do you are you able to put your audio in in the audition, and can you tell by looking at a graph when you have audio? Actually, it's pretty simple then. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, because I can't sit here for days on end to listen to stuff. I mean, I know it's a piss poor excuse, but that's what I'm looking for. I know Audacity you can do that, but for the life of me, cannot get it figured out. And that one guy we had on, Jeff, said to get a hold of him and he'd tell me, how to set that up.
Best thing to do, Jerry, is go to YouTube videos, learn it. That's the best way to learn it. The best way to learn it. That's how I had to learn it.
Okay. I live on YouTube all day long. It drives me nuts. So.
Yeah.
But if I can learn something from it, maybe I'll just go ahead. I'll do that. Yep. Good tip. Absolutely. Absolutely. Good tip. Mark, when are you going back up on the mountain? You need some videos, man.
Yeah, I do need to get up there. Turkey season's in, so don't really want to disturb nobody turkey hunting, but I do need to get up there and need to get to a couple of more places too and do some videoing. We got one we got to try to download when we get time from where we went down to Selma, Alabama, and down to Lowndes County almost 2 weeks ago. I got to get that downloaded. And of course, last week, we had the one come out with the footprint, and that found out here by the rabbit barn, and some of the other oddities that were going on here right in that same time period. And
you say that just came out?
Yeah, last week. Yeah.
How in the world did I miss that?
Yeah, I think it was last Wednesday. I think, wasn't it, Ben? Yeah. Yeah, last Wednesday. Yeah.
Well, hi, Becca. I didn't realize she was sitting there beside you. Hi, Becca.
Oh yeah.
All I see is a hand.
Yeah, she's sitting here beside me.
Okay. I don't fit in with the beards and boogers, so.
This isn't beards and boogers. This is online cryptids.
Becca, I had to grow me a beard so I can get on this channel.
I wouldn't have mine cut today a little bit. So.
Oh, he really could.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was getting rid of all this.
No, he
said no.
Yeah, he went ahead and got my head too. I mean, it ain't nothing up there no more.
Now I know where you guys invited me. 6 months right here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking all gruffy now.
Well, by the way, real quick here, Davey. I keep forgetting to do this. We got to check out the growth there.
It's coming.
That's the Oregon special right there.
4 years for that.
4 years? Lord have mercy, it'd be down to my knees in 4 years.
What's it been, Jerry? About a couple months, something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, somebody keeps trimming mine back now, so.
Dee Dee trimmed mine way back too. I was like, not so much next time.
Yeah, it gets trimmed when she cuts my hair. That tends to disappear a little bit too. So, oh well. What other kind of Bigfoot stories we got? I know you had some bad weather down there, Mark. Everybody fare okay? Or
yeah, we had some pretty good flooding. Nothing like Arkansas or Tennessee or Kentucky, but yesterday, me and Rebecca went up to check on the grist mill, and Talladega Creek was out of its banks. In fact, part of the water was coming across the campground, and we're supposed to try to hold our fire pit there this Saturday night. So I rode back up there today. The water had come down a good bit, and talked to the guy up there and told him, I was thinking about, coming up there doing the fire pit Saturday night, and he said it'd probably be dry enough by then because it didn't get over the whole campground. And a lot of it's gravel. but in some places there was water still standing. And I'm gonna go by Friday morning when I get off work. I'm gonna go by and just check and see if it's dry enough to get campers in there and stuff. Have us a little fire pit up there. I've been wanting to do it up there, and it's gonna be cool. Gonna be about 45 degrees Saturday night here, so it'll be a good night for another fire pit. And of course, that stuff goes on up there. Very, very high paranormal place. But there's been boogers seen there, and one guy said there was a dog man he's seen across the creek over there next to the old AOW, which is the Alabama Ordnance Works. Their property butts up to it, and so it's wooded. It's real wooded in that area. Good place for something to be.
Did they test munitions there or something?
That's where they made gunpowder for World War II in Korea.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about that place before.
Yeah. And then also made the heavy water for the atomic bomb for World War II. They kept that top secret. They used to be bunkers. They used to keep a lot of military out there. Even when I was growing up, we'd see the military because Sylacauga had the shell plant that was making the shell castings for the artillery. So they were shipping the shell castings up to Talladega, and they're shipping the gunpowder to Talladega, and they were loading them up there at a place they called Recon. So this whole county had a lot of Army stuff going on, well, up to into the Vietnam War. And then I think right after Vietnam War, then of course the government kept it because they had to go in there and burn all that soil. They put a center area there and burnt soil for 20-something years.
Man,
all that gunpowder and everything else in it. So.
Yeah, there's a few places that there was a place right down from us, Jerry, that used to test munitions all the time. HP White.
Mm-hmm.
I've been out there on that place, and they used to have tunnels and you can see where they used to have the machine gun pedestals, and they test tanks and artillery out there into those big holes. And then of course, DuPont, who had the plant, it was a DuPont plant. But at one time, the little town of Childersburg had like 40,000 people in it. Now it's a little town of 3,000, but you can imagine 40,000 people coming into a little old town like that. And they said there's people living in tents, and while they were building and some of the housing is still up there. These people actually living still in some of the kind of like duplexes they built, and there's still some of them left. And but I don't think the Army doesn't have any of that property anymore. They gave it to city of Childersburg, then they gave part of it to the county, and then there's some other industry come in and bought some of it. So,
Don't forget Jeffrey, the milkman.
Sorry, my kid keeps calling me.
Yeah, that HP White that he was mentioning, that's Fly of the Crow's about a mile from here.
And it's in an area where people have had encounters too.
Oh yeah.
And then you got Aberdeen and the Edgewood Arsenal. Well, the Arsenal's really not used anymore, but Aberdeen, you still hear them test fire and stuff for
big time. It'll rattle the windows here sometimes.
But
HP White, when HP White would do some firing over here, the big stuff, it got your attention real quick.
I had a friend that worked there for a while testing. They had those interchangeable mounts, the different barrels. They could fire in different caliber stuff, and they'd test ballistics, armor and all sorts of bank glass. They tested all sorts of stuff in there.
They still got a up at Anniston, right up there where Wendell lives. They have a place called Pelham Range, and they still shoot artillery there. There's still a little Army presence up there, not like it was. They used to be Fort McClellan, which was the MP chemical warfare, and back then they called them the WACs, the women's army was there, and but they shut that base down in the 90s when they done that big cut on a bunch of bases, and but the Army still has part of it, and then whoever that comedian is bought part of that place to make a studio out of it for like making movies and stuff. I can't remember his name, but Wendell probably knows who it is, but he bought some of it, and City of Anniston's got part of it, and then some of it is a refuge now with the Department of Interior, and so it's a big old place up there. There's all kind of booger reports all around it. That's where that Chakalaka monster that they were talking about back in the 30s and 40s, it was running around scaring everybody up in that neck of the woods, and that's where that sheriff got involved in it. They was finding tracks, and they were going around looking for it because people were seeing them all out in the cotton fields and stuff, and you know, around the cornfields, getting everybody stirred up in that neck of the woods. And it's in a bunch of newspapers. You can go type that in and you can read all about that. And one day I may do a video on it. I may read that some of them articles or something off. But it was pretty cool, So.
Once they re-released that Bigfoot Digest for Maryland, I think we're going to find some. Now, from what I talked to that guy, he's re-releasing it. He's not really a subject anymore, but he's got a lot of the old accounts. A lot of the people he interviewed have passed, but because he was doing most of his research back in the 90s, and he's got that one that Jerry and I've talked about on here about the Angus cow that was hit down by the park. He said that's probably one of the
Angus.
He said that's one of the most memorable ones he probably interviewed was that one.
You got cows that walk on two legs upright?
I haven't seen one yet, so
No, I ain't never seen that.
and I occasionally go down there to the barn at night and catch one of them asleep, which you don't normally see. They all look like they're awake most of the time, but
never upright on two legs.
I still laugh when I used to hear all the stories about cow tipping. I was like, "Here's."
You don't mind? I seen Bud bring that coffee cup, and I asked Rebecca, I said, "You mind making me a cup?" It's been a long day today. Oh me. Whatever's easy for you to make, babe.
I don't drink coffee like I used to. I've kind of gone to some of that alternative like mushroom coffee, which is gonna sound weird, but I like it.
She's gonna make one of them cures for me, so it won't take just a minute.
It doesn't give me the jitters like I got from drinking all this pots of coffee.
You sure about that? Something's got to calm you down.
Old Flatrock does have a pretty good one going there.
Yeah, he's got him a beer.
Yeah,
going.
I do.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Cryptids.
Just be careful though. One day I had a tick. I went down my cousin's property to help him move some farm equipment. We had to get in there in the bushes and drag stuff out. And later that night, me and Rebecca was going somewhere, and I had took a shower now and scrub real good. Was going up the highway, and I'm bad about playing with my beard anyway. And I felt something. I said, "What did I miss while I was taking a shower?" And I went to pulling. I said, "Whoa, this thing's attached." I pulled it off, and a little old tick done got in there. So I don't know how he made it through all the washing and all that.
Ticks
but-
around here aren't like they used to be, but I'll tell you, the last time I went to West Virginia, and I had like 3 of them on me. I had to pull off.
I'll tell you, that land between the lakes was full of woo mercy.
Yes, it was.
That place was loaded with them. But I'll tell you, the worst place
tell
ever
you.
been was Ocala, Florida for them.
Yeah. I can handle a tick in my beard, but I can't handle what Greg went through with that alcohol and lighter. No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Oh, Lord. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, a little on the rough side there, yeah.
I know one other guy that happened to here locally, and it was an ordeal. I think his wife might have tried to light him on fire too.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Sometimes we're getting some messes, don't we?
Yes, we
Oh.
do.
That's a heck of a mess.
It's easier if it's stuck in your armpit or something,
Yeah, it is.
I got to hear
remember-
the fire pit version of that story.
I remember the first time I got chiggers. I was probably about 8 or 9 years old when I really remember getting a bad set of chiggers. And I happened to be at my aunt and uncle's house, and we've been over there on the creek fishing and come back across a big soybean field, and we was wading bushes. And later that night, boy, I got on fire. And of course, it was in my private area. And of course, here I am. I'm not at home with my parents. And I finally go to my aunt, and I said, told her, I said, Aunt Grace, something's eating me alive. And she said, where at? And I said, well, in my privates. She said, well, come on, we'll walk back here to the bathroom. And she said, well, drop your pants in your drawers so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to tell you, it was just swole up, She said, Lord, son, you done got into chiggers. So she threw me in the bathtub with Clorox, I'm going to tell you, that's about the miserable I've ever been. Them things, they are
I
rough.
imagine so.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Chiggers are bad around here. That's the only thing that's really bad is those chiggers.
I got
bad
into some
around
mites
here.
one time in an old feed bin, and I'm sure you've seen them in feed bins before, Mark. They get into them things, and
Oh, yeah.
I climbed up because we hadn't used this feed bin in a while, but we were going to sell it. And when we used to get all this premix feeds, well, the lid had blown off, and I was like over 13 something. I climbed up there and shut the lid. Well, next thing I know, I'm covering all these black spots, and it was so bad. I went and stripped down to my underwear in the yard and had somebody hit me with a high pressure hose trying to knock them off of me.
I don't blame you. Yeah, it's getting about time for them yellow jackets and all them other things to start. Thank you, baby.
Hey, we got that yellow snow this week.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we had it last week. Boy, it was
Nasty.
you look outside and it just yellow streams just flying through. And now this week we got all the stringers off the oaks falling everywhere. And right now,
And Rebecca, I accidentally bought ducks at Tractor Supply.
Accidentally.
Literally,
Yes,
like the
they
day
just
after I
popped in
said
your
I
car.
wasn't buying any birds, my mom was in Tractor Supply and she said, "There's 4 ducklings left." I said, "Well, bring them home."
Yeah, that was accidental, all right.
Hey, they're easier to deal with than damn chickens. I swear the chicks look at you and fall over. These ducks are this much taller than they were when I bought them.
Yep. It don't take much.
are you gonna go zip lining with the ducks?
No, and anybody that's late, the duck is fine. I found him the next morning.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I've seen that picture on Facebook.
Yeah.
Those things are the fattest. They're so funny. I just love watching them.
Well, you got old Boo with you tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's my buddy.
I hear you.
I swear my old lab's starting to get deaf. I have to holler at her and she just stares at me, and then I have to go out there and entice her
Listening
back.
to you. Yeah, it takes a 22 rifle to kill some of the skeeters in Alabama. No doubt.
Just get you a 410.
You know, sometimes they bad, sometimes they not. It goes in spells, you know, according to how much rain we get. And,
Do you guys get the lantern flies or the stink bugs or anything down there?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
we
Is it a
Yeah, we
bug?
get
Yes.
hungry
it
bug.
is.
we get the ladybugs.
Mhm.
Love bug.
Yeah, we get the whole 9 yards sooner or later. And
Once in a
That
while, we
was-
get them wood beetles.
yeah, we got these what I call tree roaches. They about big as your thumb. They about scare you half to death. And
There's some sort of beetle around here that burrows into the kills off a lot of the pine trees.
We got them.
oh, you got the pine beetles, yeah.
Yeah, the pine beetle.
Isn't this the year for
They-
cicadas, Sean?
They were real bad this past year. Well, when we was having the meet and greet, you know, there was a bunch of dead timber down there in places, and they can wipe out some timber in a hurry.
Yep.
All right, sister, you gotta go somewhere. You killing me with them paws. Hey, go on.
Hey, Flatrock, I hate to ask you, would you mind playing that again for some of the people that didn't hear your audio?
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice.
If you don't-
On speaker.
Catherine was asking about it, and there's a couple other people that haven't heard it yet.
I didn't even see it. I'm glad you caught that, David.
Yeah.
Well, to get a little background to it, on January 23rd, you know, I caught a audio, and there's a name called, and it sounds like what I call my son. I call him Little Kenny, and that's what we're gonna hear.
Just play it a couple times, 3 times, however much you want.
Yeah, I will. That was 4 times. But that was one of them.
Mhm.
And the other one was all the growling on the 27th of February. Let me find it again. Let's see. Let me back it up a little bit. There's a lot of barking from there. I mean, it still goes, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Now right before the first dog bark,
Mm-hmm.
I hear
Hear a
something
little
else.
howl. Yep.
Yeah. I
Yep.
hear something a little further off. I hear a howl. Something. I
Yep.
don't know if it's
There's
a
actually
coyote
two.
or something.
There's actually
Yeah.
two of them that house. It actually ain't a coyote. I don't know what it is, but it ain't a
Yeah.
coyote. The signature is totally different than a coyote.
Hey, Flatrock,
Totally different.
Paramedic had a good idea. Have you ever played that like double speed?
No,
Either one of them? Can you do that?
I could do that right now. Hold on, let me pull
Check
it
that
back
out.
up.
You might actually hear something.
Just hold on. Let me pause it here and get the speed up. All right, I'm gonna double the speed to 2 times, okay? I don't think it's, oh, no, man. Not if I match play. All right, 2 times the speed. Now I played the other one 2 times speed. Let me move this over out of the way. Let me pause it. Way back. Speed. Increase speed. All right, I increased the other one, the one that says Little Kenny. I increased it twice.
Yeah.
That's even more distinctive.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Now, where did you have that set up at?
In my backyard. Well, it's straight out in front of me. You know, it's on the side, on the master bedroom side of the house, pointed out toward the woods. I built me a little parabolic, and it's stationary, right straight in front of me, right outside my house. Which the microphone hooks into my camera, and I Bluetooth my iPad. Let me grab my iPad real quick. Bluetooth my iPad into the camera, which I'm able to hear everything outside. Even right now, I'm listening outside. But that's what I do.
And it's paying off.
It's well paying off.
Man.
I could play an audio that when Bud, Angie, Pat, and Joe were all here, we were all sitting around the table, giggling around, talking, and there was a whoop that none of us even heard, but yet this thing was close. Let's see, where's that? There it is. No, this is that Yoo-hoo. Hold on, let me turn my speaker on. Y'all catch that?
Yeah.
Let me turn it up a little bit more. Let me make sure it ain't on double speed. Okay. Whoa, did it go that fast? Did I go to double speed? Okay. Still going double speed. Because that's just a short one, but it's actually saying yoo-hoo, yoo-hoo, and that's what they're doing. They're drawing my dog to the fence, and that's when he starts barking. And
Okay.
but now, y'all went to my Facebook page and heard the chest thumps that was at the back porch. That was pretty cool. Them chest thumps. Definitely pretty cool.
Yeah,
all right,
here's that. Yeah.
Here's that whoop that none of us heard, and it's a really good whoop. Probably one of my best ones.
Oh wow!
Wow.
You can actually hear us talking at the table.
That's legit, man.
We did not hear that thing at all.
Wow.
Did not hear it at all.
Yeah, I got a friend that deer hunted here for years with me, and he's heard the whoops. Funny, he hasn't been back over in a while.
Yeah.
After he asked me, "What do you think that was?" and he described it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, you had one down there."
Yeah.
That was a black Angus cow. Just ask the locals. All right, he's pointing me out on something here.
Don has a question.
Yep, I got it. Yes, and I'll let him talk about that.
Yeah, they actually killed one of our dogs, Don, and and they hit my dog with a rock.
How long ago was that now?
My brother's dog got killed in 2019. The rock incident was in 2019. I got that rock somewhere. I got that rock around here somewhere. I just don't know where I've got it placed at right now. But the rock is about like this right here. It's shaped just like this right here. And when they hit him, he started spinning around like a car hit him in the hips. He just started spinning and yelping, like he got hit by a car.
Oh,
and I walked over there, and that's where I found the rock at.
Yeah.
So, Flatrock,
I
have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Oh, I bet Greg knows all about that. So it's not a trap question or anything like that. do you believe in the woo, or do you think there's anything woo going on? Or you think this is all flesh and blood type?
Didn't you just
critters, or-
hear my son's name called?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't call that from any other thing.
That's right. Yep.
I mean, there's nothing else to call that. I mean,
Yeah.
something's doing it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean,
it ain't no bear out there doing it.
Am I full woo like UFOs dropped them off? No, I ain't there. Okay, there's got to be evidence of that, so I ain't there. Things they can do and stuff that goes out in the woods. Yeah, there's that woo there that's unexplainable. Just like my son's name being called out of the woods for no reason whatsoever in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but there it was.
Yeah.
And that's that's woo. I hate to say it,
Yeah.
that's woo.
Yeah. It's somebody just I passed it up. It went kind of fast, but somebody said there ain't no 1,000-pound parrot out there.
That was Greg.
That was Greg
Yeah.
House. Greg House.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a 1,000-pound parrot in the woods.
Yeah.
You got
Or-
that right.
or 1,000-pound
parrot.
Blue heron.
Yep. Yep. We've heard 1,000-pound owls.
Yeah.
When you hear 1,000-pound blue heron, that's about the craziest thing you'll hear.
True that, man.
When you listen to that, Little Kenny, it's almost, not quite, but almost has that same tone as me and my brother. The way we talk, it's almost, not quite, but the tone, it's almost like me hearing my mom call my name, but, this wasn't quite like mine and my brother's voice coming out of the woods that night. But
They like to imitate.
That flew.
There's a lot of imitation, a lot of stories of them imitating people. And
Yeah. I mean, because you hear a lot of people talk about, their names being called. You hear a lot of them. Even Debbie Porch has one that says her name.
yeah.
And then there's another one. It says my son's name.
There was a recording that my friend Adam got on Creepy Mountain one time, and I just had pulled up and was getting out of my truck. And Adam hadn't even spoke to me yet. You hear my truck door shut, and on the recording, he hears, when he goes back and downloads it, he hears Marco, just like that, Marco. And, then he picked up a lot of crazy stuff. The other time, they thought he picked up people's names that were with him, and he wouldn't be calling their name. You could tell this was in the background. And that was kind of freaky hearing that stuff, like that. And
I bet.
Yeah, it is
But,
crazy.
I mean, they will try to, wolf like a dog. I don't know why they do that, but, you'll hear them every now and then go, whoa, whoa, like that. And it ain't them. I mean, it ain't your dog that's doing that. But I caught him doing it. You could actually hear him stomp the ground as well.
Yeah.
When he did it. But he does that, stomps the ground, and then whoops again. And that's a pretty good audio that I had caught as well. I can play it if y'all want me to play it as well, if y'all want me to.
Sure.
You're right ahead.
At the top. There's one. Stomp. There we go. I'll play that again. Stop. Y'all hear him stomp?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds
Yeah.
like it.
You know, and he whooped like a dog. He whooped like a dog. You know, woof, you know, and but it wasn't no dog. You know, that's a full-fledged booger on that one. Cause he stomped at us. I mean, that stomp is what I heard when John and Miss Phyllis was here. That's the sound of the stomp when they stomp that ground. You know, and you could hear it. Sometimes you can feel it when they stomp that ground.
I was going to ask if you probably could have felt that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could actually feel them stomps.
How about rock throwing? Do you experience a lot of that there?
No, we ain't experienced a lot of rock throwing. Mostly, you know, it's mostly them little sampling trees like that right there. You know, they just snap them. Pow! You know, you hear a lot of that. But rock throwing, no. I mean, other people get a lot of rock throwing, but I don't get much rock throwing.
Greg's had a lot of up close and personal stuff over there.
Yeah. I mostly get audio. You know what I mean? Because that's all I started focusing on is just getting audio. And so really that's basically all I go after now is just strictly audio. I stay away from them and just let them do their little thing. You know,
Yeah, best to just leave them alone, I guess.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the best thing to do is just leave them alone. And I'm going to try to pull up, you know, what they actually do to a dog. You know, I mean, I recorded this a week or two after my brother's dog got killed.
Yeah.
And I ended up catching this recording, and it is of a canine being killed. And if you don't want to hear it, you know, you might want to mute.
Cindy, I know you're out there. Mute the TV. I can hear it.
I'm gonna try to get straight to the words there. Dog's already hurt. He just got hit by something. Right there. That's right there where he killed him. Listen to this slam. You'll hear a whoop, and then you'll hear a slam. There's a whoop. There's the kill. What he did, he slammed him against the tree. You know, he just slammed him, and then you don't hear him no more.
Almost sound like there's some coyotes too.
Yeah, there's a lot of dogs going off at this time. A lot of them.
Have you ever found coyote carcasses or anything around here?
Yeah, I found one right in my front yard. You know, and there was no way a car put him inside the gate. So, I mean, it was twisted up. The back end was completely twisted. The back end was completely twisted, and all the insides were gone. And he was just left right there at the front gate, inside the fence. Not on the outside, on the inside.
They left you a gift.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to say that, yeah.
Do you think it was a gift or a message?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you got a
barking
picture of
after
that
dark.
coyote that's up front. Yeah.
So Flatrock, Bigfoot, New York, Todd had a question is, do you think there's some kind of motivation for them getting so close to your house frequently?
No, there's no motivation other than they were here before we was, and this is one of their normal routes that they come through.
And you
Don
had
had
that.
one.
You had that one there before that was taken care of.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, if I could give y'all a link to a reporter that wrote a lot of stories in this area. They were sightings, on both sides of my property long before we even moved here. Okay, going down this river, crossing over the bridges. This is where these people seen these Bigfoots is crossing the bridge, and these people wasn't local folks who seen them and reported them. These were out of town people who called and reported these creatures crossing the bridges. So makes it more believable when a person don't live here in the county, lives out of state, that actually reported these creatures.
Now I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but do you I know you hunt on that property. You ever find deer that go up missing?
Oh yeah. You can ask Joe Pass that one, Squatching Cowboy. We come across a lot of deer carcasses back there in the woods. I've even got a picture. I got this picture. I think I got it posted on my face. No, I ain't got that one posted. But there's a deer carcass. It's a 4-point buck. His neck's broke, and you can see the skin of this deer is where the neck should be. You can see the whole hide of the deer skin up here. All the meat's gone.
A lot of times, like the ones I've found, they're usually pulled up and everything's removed.
Yep. But it's the
Do you ever
full
find
carcass.
hanging in trees? I don't
No,
know.
I ain't found one in a tree yet. No, I found a deer skull. Me and my best friend Tyler Howell, we went back there in the woods and found a deer skull up in a tree, but it wasn't high off the ground. It was about 2 or 3 feet off the ground. But it was back there in the woods.
I've found carcasses that were stripped hanging from the deer stands, and that's about the strangest thing I've seen.
Yep.
And my neighbors, my friends were, it was so and so, and I said that crackhead ain't carrying that up into a deer stand and hanging it over the railing.
There's a lot of your fur-bearing animals around, like the coons and possums, and you see much anymore?
Yeah, we see. The only thing we don't really see anymore, Mark, is rattlesnakes. Rattlesnakes and copperheads seem like they're just gone. I was killing at least 5 timber rattlers a year right here on this little, say, a 3-acre little plot right here where I'm at. I've killed 5 a year. For the last 3 years, ain't seen the first one. Not the first one.
Wow.
They just disappeared. We ain't got where the rattlesnakes are. I don't know. You can walk back there in the woods, you won't even see a rattlesnake. Walk all around this property, you won't find a rattlesnake or a copperhead. Is it king snakes that's killing them away? Could be. Or, they could be eating the darn things. I don't know.
I wonder how the venom affects them.
Hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never know. Probably.
Nope.
Yeah. And speaking of Don, he asked a question earlier. Have you ever, Flatrock, heard any dogman growls or howls that shake you, like shake you to your soul?
No, I ain't. I've heard a lot of growls. Like also the one I played earlier. I've been growled at least 5 times, right out of the woods. Even once I howled out the door, when I heard one up front, owing away, I howled out the door, and next thing you know, one growled back at me. But they were all Bigfoots. I ain't seen nothing that tells me a dog man's around.
That's
The
possible.
closest, I tell you what, the closest of audio I got, I mean, I 100 believe it's a Bigfoot. Let me see. I don't know which how it is, 'cause I got so many of them. Let me check something down here.
Yeah, I wonder if they eat them. I mean, they depending on the venom, they'd have to be careful. But
Yeah.
unless they can absorb the venom, unless there's something about them that.
Yeah. Let me find this this howl real quick, and I'll play it. I mean, that's about the closest that I can say anything, but I believe it's still 100% Bigfoot. But hold on a second.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. What does the venom do as far as that?
Okay. All right, y'all ready? Yeah, I wouldn't know what that venom would do to them, but here's the closest I can say. Okay.
We got dogs coming everywhere.
You'll hear
Dog man.
one. You'll hear something far away, but what you're listening to, what's close up. I mean, real close up. Oh, hold on. There we go. The one far away. That was the one close up. But that's the closest one I got to anything doggish, But I still believe that's full Bigfoot doing that one. But I mean, I got over 100 audio clips of these critters. And I'm still 2.5 years behind on going through all my audio. I mean, that's basically where I'm at.
It takes a lot of time to go through all that stuff.
Yeah.
Flatrock, you really got some of the best stuff I've probably heard anybody catch.
Oh, I got some really good stuff.
Amazing.
I got them talking. I got them talking right there on the back porch, out my window. They're basically grunt talking. It ain't like jibber jabber. I mean, it's like grunt talking. Tongue popping, grunt, but it has a language sound to it. the best language one I got says something like "Husa Hey Tua," and I've been trying to find somebody who might also heard that word. And I was watching a Stacy Brown documentary from down in the Everglades, and that old man that was there, he actually said something really, really close to what that same word. I mean, it almost similar to what he said that he heard back there, in the Everglades, is the same thing I recorded here, which I play right now. You'll hear it say "Husa Hey Tua."
Husa Hey Tua.
It's kind of like Native American.
That's what I
Yeah. Turn it up a little bit. Oop. The bar. Oops, hey, Tua. It does sound Native American.
Yeah.
And but that was April the 3rd, 2022 at 10:49 p.m. So you're still seeing that 10 to 11 o'clock, 10 to 12 o'clock thing. So
Jeff,
but, I do also get a lot of audio, early in the morning, like between 2 and 4. I've even got it all the way up to 5:03 in the morning, where multiple Bigfoots were just howling back and forth with each other. Just carrying on.
when was your incident, Jeff, here at the farm?
The howl.
The tree, the scream.
It was October, I think.
Time wise, you think?
9 something.
Yeah, because here the things that's happened here in 2020 and such was wee morning hours. To see, I've got just a little before midnight one time, at 10 o'clock, 10:15 p.m. and what was the other one? 3 in the morning, I think. A little later, 3:15, somewhere around there. There's 3 incidents.
Now the mimics I've heard between like midnight and 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Ken, I'll send that to you, buddy. See, Ken, he's Creek Indian, so
okay,
he's Native American, so I'll send it to him. He wants to hear it slowed down, so I'll send it to him so he can sit there and play with it some.
I heard something a couple weeks ago after dark. I was working on one of our trash pumps, trying to pump some water off of one of these pits to a different one because the pipe was clogged. And I heard something that sounded like a bird, but it was moving around the bottom field. And I was like, well, better hurry this up and go back to the...
And that could be a big cat. They can make bird chirp sounds.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
It's strange because everything that I've ever noticed seems to coincide with when the owls are around. That's another odd thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they travel around with the owls.
Yeah, I got some audio where they're grunting, and they're actually doing owl calls, back and forth with each other, and you could tell it's them because one of them actually messes up, and the one that messed up, another one growled at him, because he had messed up that alcohol. He does that, like whatever, and you could tell it's them. And it was the same night I got growled at out the door. Same night.
Wow.
Now,
Yeah, Henry, we apologize.
Yes,
We're sorry for your loss. Let's see, you lost a
Yeah.
nephew.
Wow.
Very sorry to hear that, Henry.
Sorry, brother. Prayers for you and the family, man.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Thank you, Misty.
They ever slap? I can't remember if we've ever talked about this, but you've heard them slap on the house, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I got that on recording too, multiple times.
Yeah, we've tried to cover so much with you, but there's always things I forget when we're talking about this.
Hey, if you want to hear it, I'll play it for you. You can hear them yelling and beating on my house.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Hold on,
I can't remember if you sent that one to me or not.
I could have.
The mimicking is the one that's always really gotten to me because I've heard so much of that stuff.
Yeah, them when they beat on when they did that just in January, and me just now coming around to it. I can you can just imagine what else all kind of stuff I got. That's still that I ain't got to yet.
Hey, Patrick.
Okay.
I'm just listening and learning, Patrick. I don't want to interrupt.
So,
Yeah, I'm the loud one tonight.
We got David talking tonight.
good.
I had to exit from a show the other night just to get him to talk.
There we go. All right, here we go. You'll hear him yelling and you'll hear him banging on my house. This is right there at my laundry room window where he's doing it at. At that time, I was over at my mom's when this was going down, and we heard the yelling. We didn't know he was banging on the house, but we had come outside with flashlights to find out what that yelling was, and we're flashing the light around, trying to find out where it's coming from. And about time we got a flashlight pointed this way. At the end of this audio, you could hear him say, "Whoop," and then he takes off back in the woods, 'cause I guess he's seen the lights, the flashlights, pointing toward him. That's when he whoop, went on back in the woods.
Now, Flatrock, does that sound like more like a juvenile to you?
No, that was
teenage?
that big brown one. That was that
Was
big
it?
brown one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that big brown one that got bang bangs.
Okay.
Do they slap the same parts of the house?
No, different parts. The banging they did on that one was on this side. The last time they banged on the wall was like 2 months ago. It might have been 2.5 months ago. John Lamb's actually seen where they hit at. My wife was in the bedroom watching TV, and I'm in here on the computer. Next thing you know, you hear that bang, bang, bang. And I just thought it was my wife moving stuff around in the bedroom. She come running out, and said something just banged on the house. Well, I didn't think no more of it. And John and Phyllis came over, and I was telling them about it, and walked them over there where, the banging was, and you could actually see the marks still today where, he banged on the house, and and you could see hair streaks from orange mud that's still on the house itself. After all this time with all the rain and all, it's still there.
How high
Still
up
right
was that?
there.
How high up were the marks?
The highest point is 10 foot. Higher, 10
Wow.
foot above, somewhere up in there. That's the highest point.
Now your house is just on footers. You don't have a basement or anything, do you?
Oh no, I'm on that side that he hit. It's pretty high up on the on. It's five blocks up. Then my house sits on 5 cement blocks down. Maybe 6. So it's pretty high up there.
Do they
How
follow
high-
up with growls whenever they hit your house? Just another question we had.
We didn't hear no growls that night. It was just a banging. Now we've actually caught them looking in the windows. I filmed one of them. The last time, there's last 2 times we seen them looking in the window. I was in the restroom when I seen one, through the blinds. The blinds were just opened up enough to where you can actually see his eye shine looking in the window. And, for where his eyes was, I could stand on both my feet and reach all the way up to the 3rd blind on the at the bathroom window, and that's where his eye shine was. The other one was in this bedroom where my brother was staying with me. He was staying in this room right here, and he caught one looking through that window. And the next morning we went out there and we actually got a footprint out there, to show my brother was seeing something out there.
Now you have gotten fingerprints on the windows, haven't you?
Not on the window, on the porch, and on the side of my door. Say here's my front door. Say that's my front door, the glass door. That handprint is right here. About that far away from the front door. You can see all the fingers are like this right here. The thumb is way down here. And the fingers are up here. I can't even distort my hand like that the way its hand was on that up against the trailer there.
Well, didn't you get them on
Footprints are
your
still
truck
there.
too, Flatrock?
Huh?
So didn't you get them on your truck too? Your truck.
You cut out for a second, bud.
I'm sorry. I said, didn't you get them on your truck too? Your truck door handle
on my truck. The
Yeah.
truck was the first one. The second one was right after y'all left in 23.
Yeah.
Then Stacy Brown Jr. come up here and collected it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after they left, within a week, I had a baby handprint up on the deck railing of the porch. It looked like where one had jumped up on that railing, because you can actually see its heel print right there close to his hand. That baby's hand is twice smaller than my hand.
Yeah, I remember you sending me the pic.
Yeah, it's little hand. And the other one was right there at the door, about yay far from the glass door.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually had them slap my front door and open that wood door up, but I wasn't here at the time when they did it, but you could actually hear it on my camera when they slapped the door and they even opened it up. Now, they didn't come in because you can't hear nothing walking in the house, but you could actually hear when they slapped that glass door and then opened up the wood door. And when I did come back over here, the wood door was open. The screen, the glass door, it was swinging free. That when I got back, so I knew it had opened up the door.
That's a good statement there by Don. You think they're smart enough to be testing the structural integrity of parts of the house?
Absolutely.
I agree. Dorothy had a good question too.
Yeah, do you think they can throw their voice like a ventriloquist?
Huh.
That one's a tough one.
That would be hard to answer.
Yeah. I mean, their voice travels. I can say that much. You know, if their voice didn't travel, we wouldn't feel it in our chest, would we?
No.
Rick had a good question earlier.
Yeah.
What are these things? Well, that's
That's the next one after this one. I was getting ready to hit that up.
yeah.
Big, hairy, humanish looking critters. I'll say it that far.
Well said.
It's. What do you think, Mark?
Uh-oh.
We want you.
Hey,
We want
you
your
don't like
opinion.
my answer on this one.
Nah, you'd be
I
surprised.
will say I don't believe they're Nephilim. I'll say that much. You know, I mean, they could be, but I'm just not there with that one yet. You know, I'm just not there with it. But they could be. You just don't know. Nobody knows.
Mhm.
You know?
Well, I mean, they've been around since the natives, so
Yeah. I mean, are they the creature of the Bible? You know, after the flood, possibly. Before the flood, no, because I don't believe nothing lived that lived other than what's on that boat before the flood. You know, so I gotta go there with it because I'm a very much big Bible believer.
Twisted's got a good one there. How fast do they go from infant to walking?
Oh goodness,
Probably pretty quick.
probably pretty quick. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, you look at cows, deer.
Yeah.
I mean, they're walking
deer.
within a day or so. You know.
Yeah.
I always had we always had the joke on, doing the dairy stuff that jerseys were born on their feet because about every time I've ever seen one after a calf, it's standing up. So
Yeah, I think the animal
So,
kingdom is a lot different than we are.
Mhm.
Yeah. Flatrock, is your house 2-story or 1-story?
Just a double wide trailer.
Have you ever heard anything on your roof?
No.
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 Okay.
Now, I did on my mom's roof. I thought I did one night. Okay. We didn't know about Bigfoots back then when we heard something run across the roof. Okay. We just thought it was a cat up there or whatever, or a coon or a possum running across the roof, but you could tell it was bigger than that. But, our minds wouldn't take us to Bigfoot because we didn't believe that Bigfoot even existed back then.
Yeah.
Because we really blowed everything off before we actually seen these creatures. We were blowing everything off. We heard the howls. We blowed them off as coyotes. We heard the knocks. We blowed them off like woodpeckers hitting trees, You couldn't blow off the yells, but, we just said that was probably just people back there in the woods, yelling.
those big hairy people.
Yeah.
But, that's what most of the people do still today. That's why, they'll say, well, I've been in the woods for 40, 50 years. I ain't heard the first thing. Well, you ain't listening for them just like I did. We blowed everything off. And we was actually hearing it, but we blowed it off.
Yeah.
And I believe they actually heard or something before and just blowed it off just like we did.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're not looking for it or listening for it, if that's not,
Exactly.
if you have no clue, that's the last thing you're gonna pay attention to. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, I give you another example. I'm up in my tree stand, about 75 yards straight out that way, and this was maybe between 2 and 4 o'clock, somewhere up in there. And I'm sitting there, and next thing I know, I hear 3 taps on one side, then I hear 3 taps on the other side, and I can actually hear them, but it sounds like they're at a distance away, but it just kept going back and forth 2 or 3 times. And then you hear something big coming up like a washout that's going just deep down, goes down a ridge, and you can hear the leaves just cracking and the sticks just plowing, and whatever it was coming up that little ridge. And today I know what that was, but then at that time, I thought it was a big deer or a bear or something else coming up that ridge. I was blowing off the synchronized knocking. I just blowed that off, even though I was listening to it.
Yeah.
First thing that came to mind was woodpecker over there, woodpecker over there. But 3, 3, 3, 3. Kept going, and that whatever it was come up that ridge. I never seen it, but I knew it was big. That was coming up that ridge. It was stomping, coming up that ridge, and it's real steep there. For those who's been here, they know how steep it is. And but whatever it was came it up, but it stayed down to where I wasn't looking, or stayed behind a bush, just peeking its head up where I couldn't see it, but it could see me. I'm sure all 3 of them seen me. But they had me triangled in. I still stayed there for another hour or so before I got down and walked back over here to the house. But I blowed that off, and then once I realized, what these creatures do, I knew right then, what that was that happened that day.
Yep.
Don't let it bother you, Phyllis.
Yep.
We all deal with it.
I give you another
I don't
one.
care anymore. So
I give you another one. My son, we knew about the Bigfoot then, but my son wanted to go hunting, so my tree stand done moved over here because they've run me out of that one. So I put it over here on this block, back about 50 yards straight out my front door. And I told my son to be careful, but I was going to stay on that porch, on the front porch, and listen. I wasn't going to, just let him go out there in the woods. And this was the one we called Little Kenny. But he went out there. This was in the late afternoon as well. I'm sitting on the porch. I can hear him get out of the tree stand, and he's coming back. And you hear whistling all the way back. He's coming down that road that goes into the leaves. He's walking back, and I'm thinking it's him whistling, okay? He gets around the corner right here, and I'm looking at him. He gets close to me and says, "Son, what was you whistling?" He said, "Daddy, that wasn't me whistling. That was a bird following me." But see how he blowed that off?
yeah,
That wasn't no bird following him all the way down that road. Was not happening, but that's what happened that day, And when you got your mindset that these critters don't exist, you're not gonna listen to stories like this. You're just gonna blow it off, until you have your encounter like we have, and that's just the way it is, I believe.
Yeah, I'm now becoming known as the Bigfoot guy around here too.
Well, I am.
It grows on them though.
Yeah, I
It's-
embrace
that ain't
it.
what I heard.
Put a
They think
sticker on the
about
back of the pickup.
that ain't what I heard, Jeff. But okay. Bigfoot
Yeah,
Bud.
I get hit up all the time at work about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Somebody had a question for Bigfoot Bud. If you've had any experiences.
Yeah, I've had several experiences. Have I ever had a sighting? No. My wife had one last year right down there at Flatrocks.
You got
about
close,
25
though,
feet
bud.
away.
You got
sorry?
close. You got close and
Yeah.
caught something.
Apparently, I had to walk right by the son of a gun and didn't even know it. But
Yeah.
but I was sitting there. What I thought, I think I had one on my thermal, well, I must have walked past the one that was closest to me because Angie said, I don't want him going over by himself in the woods. And so she got up, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds later and started coming to me. And that's when this thing must have been circling around me and ran right into her.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, we've gotten calls, howls. I've been nailed in the chest by I don't know, about a softball size of mud clod. I mean, just drilled right square in the chest, and scared her to death. And because I took off down the mountain after it, just because I knew it had to come from one certain way. But I've also been hit with acorns, and but I've never seen one. So it figures. I mean, I've been around them my whole life growing up. Like Flatrock was saying, I've been hunting since I was 8, deer hunting, bow hunting since I was 11. And I heard things out in the woods that I'm like, well, why is Mr. Airwood out this early cutting wood or mending fence or Charlie Mead up the road there knocking on trees this early? It ain't even daylight yet. And then once I started following all these shows the last 6-7 years, I'm like, the son of gun, I've been hearing that my whole life and not even realize it.
Yep.
You know, and from the time I left the grandma and grandpa's farm, went in the military, and ever since then, everywhere I've went, I've been looking for the signs and stuff that I was told about. And I mean, it just opens your eyes, you know.
Yep.
And then come to find out, my wife thought I was nuts when I met her, like Phyllis was saying. When we first started talking, she thought I was crazy. But, you know, that's probably why she likes me. But,
Likes him a little crazy.
I guess so. But yeah, so you know, she'd never been out in the woods, never hunted, never fished, never outdoor anything. And so I don't know if I really liked that or not, because once I took her, you know, I figured out I'll take her deer hunting. She'll get cold and she'll never want to go again. So, you know, so I'll be out there by myself. It didn't work like that. She loved it. So, which turns out that's pretty nice.
That's
but and then here she just gets in this with me, and all of a sudden she's seen one up Flatrocks. And I'm like, that figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I'll tell you what, the best audio that I believe Bud's caught, and I've caught a lot of audio, don't get me wrong, I've caught a lot of audio, but I believe what Bud's got, I mean, it's out of nowhere. He's up on a mountain, okay? No electricity anywhere from miles, okay? Miles. No electricity. And yet he records something that sounds like a well pump going off.
Yeah, like you'd have in your pond, a well pump kicking on and off or something like that. But it's the same place I got drilled in the chest by that big old mud clod.
And there's no electricity for miles, but yet there's a well pump sound that he's got on audio. Yeah. Where does well pump sound come from? I mean,
was that
there's
West
no
Virginia?
well pumps.
Yeah, West Virginia. Also got 2 real good morning howls. I call them 2 morning howls that Chris Reinhardt has sent to some guys in Washington, Dave Ellis, I think, or something like that. But he said that with that well pump Flatrock's talking about and them 2 howls, the guy in Washington said he caught that just last year before. I caught this probably 4 years ago, and nobody. Oh, you just caught an electric pump. I'm like, it can be electric pump. You know, I had to drive my truck a half a mile back through a creek just to get back to this property, and then we took the side by side clear up the mountain just to get phone reception. That's why we went up there to check in. You know, it's kids and family and all, and. Yeah, I mean, so I put a recorder there after it got hit, cameras, everything. I mean, we got some weird stuff there. I mean, it's a great spot, and then we're supposed to check out a new spot in West Virginia this year. And then a friend of mine bought 50 acres down in. I was just telling Mark and Flatrock, my friend bought 50 acres in Alabama down around Laverne, and I'm gonna see if I can get permission, because me and Angie love doing the private land stuff, and you know, we always talk with the landowners. Hey, what do you mind us doing? What don't you want us to do? Because I mean, we've been to so many of these here in Ohio. We've got Salt Fork, Hocking Hills, Wayne National Forest. There's a lot of pretty well-known spots, but there's just too many people to go to them. So that's why we try to go to these more private land owners and all.
And I
And then-
believe that's where the discovery is going to be made, is on on somebody's
Yeah.
private property. It ain't going to be made out in the national forest. It's
Yeah.
going to be made. It's going to be found at somebody's property.
And
Somebody's
me and
around
Angie
this
try to
country.
we try to respect the landowner's wishes and ask him, what do you mind us doing? What don't you want us to do? Like Greg House, I went down to stop by his man cave area last year, and I didn't even ask Greg if I could put anything out because I've heard him say on the shows, which I could totally understand. I mean, he has to live with them. You don't want somebody to go in there and piss him off, and then you take off, and then he's got to deal with it. I totally respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bud, you should go check out the Manga Hill on Green Ridge. That's where the place I won't go to anymore.
Well, that spot in West Virginia, a buddy told me about, he has 18 acres that borders that. So
Wow.
we're going to try to hit that in June or July.
Yeah, Manga Hill, that section is a completely different ball game.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be surprised.
I think there's more than
I
just
hope so. That's why I'm going to go.
Yeah.
There's more than
We're
just
going to get
Bigfoot.
surprised.
There's more than just Bigfoot in that Manga Hill. I can tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
Well, good.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for letting me know. I'll just take a bigger boar.
Turkey guns are not sufficient for where I was camping. I'm sorry, but that
I've always got a theory on that. I always carry one pew pew that is loaded with double aught and then a double aught slug. And I figure if they can't see you, maybe you can, shoot them in the face first time. Maybe you can dodge them while you put another one in them.
I'm more concerned
the
about that dog critter
Yeah, me too.
than I am about that.
Yeah.
But
You got a couple other ones here.
Hillary wants to know if that
Yeah.
what you caught was up in Gandyville.
Yeah, I had that question up there a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Is that, I don't even know where that's at, Hillary. It's a little, probably 2 or 3 miles outside of a real small town called Walton. I mean, if you blink your eyes, you're going. All it has is a store and a gas station, and so it's right up. It's about an hour north of Charleston, and 2 or 3 miles outside of Walton, back up in the mountains in the middle of nowhere. Which that's kind of spots I like going to. Just me and Angie, and that's it. If we can find spots like that, I mean, it's awesome. But I mean, you don't have to be clear out in the middle of nowhere to see these things either. I mean, how many stories has everybody heard? You go down behind the mall to their dumpsters, and, there's been reports of that. So,
Yeah.
Yes.
but there's a lot of things I'll do if Angie ain't with me. But, and then if she's with me, I don't try some certain things because I like to think out of the box. I like to try things that people don't think about and some things I don't want to tell about. But I mean, I just take a little bit more chances when I'm by myself. So
Mark, do you
Todd?
think they bury their dead?
I really don't know what they do with their dead. I mean, I really just don't. I mean, there's a lot of theories out there, and that's one that really I really don't know what to say, what they do with them. And, they may carry them deep in holes or something, and
Yeah.
or way back in caves that because there's a lot of caves that, now I'm talking Alabama, this part of the Southeast. There's a lot of caves on a lot of private properties that people don't go into.
yeah,
A lot of sinkholes and, places. And so, stuff could be put in there and probably nobody never find it.
Because those caves go way back in there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, there's one cave right up here above me. They think it goes 30, 40 miles, but they can't go back in there far enough because so much rock has failed over the years, and it's dangerous to get in there.
And those things probably just carry them right on in.
Yeah. Well, there's probably other entrances probably in places. And I mean, I lived on a property that had a cave and I never went in it, but one reason I didn't go in it because the place was full of snakes, and you had to crawl in, and I ain't crazy about crawling in my head first, meeting Mr. Rattlesnake head on or something, so, so
Wise
Yeah.
decision.
You just need some bird shot.
Yeah. You know, and I mean, that's one that's really just hard to answer. I mean, we really just don't know.
Yeah.
That's actually caught my attention. I'm thinking about going to Sutton sometime.
Yeah. I mean, Angie's actually been to it a couple times.
Is it pretty good? I've never.
Yeah, it ain't too bad at all. I mean, it takes up the whole town, and people's just friendly and real nice to meet and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually going to a festival that Mary Fabian's going to be speaking at up in Forest County, and that's like up in the PA, probably 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, it's a hike up there. Yeah. Good country.
In June, I'll be there in June. Finally talked the girlfriend into going with me somewhere. She's not really into this, but she said she'd go.
Right.
I wouldn't mind taking
Not
my
be into it
girlfriend
after
to
the
Mary.
first time, though.
There he is.
Flatrock's back in a different.
What in the world?
We got him fixed up. He's good.
We got 2 Flatrocks.
Flatrock, has the game wardens come back through there fooling around?
Uh-oh.
Can't hear you, Flat Rock.
Can't hear you, Flatrock.
Can't hear you.
Oh, man. Uh-oh.
Let's try this.
Let me go
There we
off.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
What is going on?
Hell, I'm still on there, ain't I?
That's okay. We can't hear you.
Oh.
We got to use your old screen to hear you. That's okay.
Okay. No, they ain't come back. Now they do right up and down the road, but we're not allowing them back on the property for what for bringing that drone over here and not telling us about it. So no, we ain't gonna bring it back on property. I mean, they should have told us they could bring a drone out here and fly it right where I showed the game warden, but they didn't. They should have, but they didn't. So no, we're not gonna let them. I'm gonna go out and come back in. Okay.
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 All right.
Mark, when was the last time you heard anything from any of the game wardens around you? Has it been a while?
Yeah, I hadn't heard nothing in a while from a game warden. Game wardens in Alabama, they you ain't gonna get much out of them.
You don't get much out of these ones around here. That was why I was
Yeah.
shocked when I had that one talking to me about it.
You come getting more out of the Forest Service guys and some of the guys that work in state parks and stuff. But
Yeah, I've been meaning to go talk to some of them if I can catch them in the right.
What's the date on that Forest County thing, Jeff?
That is June. I believe it is. Let me look it up real quick. I'll tell you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
It's kind of funny, that guy, the fish and wildlife guy in the Flash of Beauty, Stewart. I've talked to him lots of times. He's a really nice guy. I was kind of surprised to hear him talking about Bigfoot.
Jerry, I think it's the 5th to the 8th.
Man, I just can't make it work out with this tractor phone stuff. Check the schedule.
yeah, I think they know they exist. They just they close mouth about it, and I don't know if they've threatened them or what the deal is with them. I mean, the one in this county, one time when I brought it up to him, he just looked at me. He wouldn't say nothing. And he finally said, "Man, you just can't talk about that," So I mean, he kind of let the cat out of the bag when he said that, But,
Oh, man.
Hey, Pine Knot, I'm actually going to see her twice. Actually, Bud, when you and I are meeting up, is Bigfoot Todd's going to be there too.
Oh, was it? Yeah, look forward to
Yeah,
meeting
he's
you.
gonna be there.
Yeah. That's another reason me and Angie do. We love meeting people, and especially people went into this. That way, not everybody thinks you're nuts.
I think
Yeah.
Levon's going to
Nothing
ride
I
up
would
that
care.
weekend and spend the day with us too.
Who is?
Maybe around the other way around. We think they nuts for not believing.
She's been on the show
Yeah.
before. She's in chat sometimes.
Yeah, Levon.
But she's not that far from us, and she goes and checks out a lot of places not far from us in PA.
Yeah, there's a get together over here just outside of Lancaster too this summer. That's one I know I can make that one, but
Which one's that?
I have to look it up. I can't remember. But
Yeah, that I was surprised that the warden even said anything to me about it. That was how I got hooked up with the guys that go poke around on the peninsula.
Mm.
Jerry, I got to go back and what was that show that popped up today? Was it Paranormal Appalachian Research or something? Where they were going out to Northeast? I can't remember what it was.
Hopefully it pops back up on Facebook. I can't remember.
That one video they sent was actually they were showing was actually for Mikey.
Something. Oh, okay.
It was Burkhart.
He would,
yeah, I saw
he would probably know who it is then. You have to reach out.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while. I got to reach out to him.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, he's got tons of casts from out there.
That's an interesting area. We got to get over there.
It's a very interesting area. If we got time, Mark, I might have to carry over there. It's about an hour from here.
Yeah.
It's
National Forest over there.
It's
State
big.
State Forest. Up next.
And that's where I found the blue balloon. Everybody talks about these infamous blue balloons. And
if he's bringing his trailer, there's two campgrounds over there too.
Yeah.
And one of them is right smack in the forest.
Yeah, Paul in the chat here has got some cast from over there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Paul was down there at Hollins, we found a balloon up there not far from where the guy was supposedly killed at. So that was kind of weird. It wasn't there like during the meet and greet and stuff, so I don't know, But it was
I believe Hollins is more of a buggery place than my place.
Well, yeah, but I'm gonna tell you, Hollins has got more than just boogers. There's something else there with that place.
Yeah.
That's like Green Mountain in West Virginia.
I don't know what's there, but they is a lot more there than just boogers. That's a strange place, buddy.
You ain't kidding. I'll tell you the story. You already know about it, Mark, but me, David, Beasley, and Richard, we was camping out there, and this was during the middle of the day. We're sitting inside of this little camper, and there's flashes of light just flashing all around us, about 3-4 foot off the ground, and it just looked like somebody was taking pictures all the way around us. And we're sitting there talking, nobody saying nothing. And I said, "Guys, are y'all seeing what I'm seeing?" And then they finally spoke up, and they're seeing these flashes everywhere around us. Where them flashes were coming from, I mean, they had to be coming out of all those courts that's down in that ground. But these were ground flashes, 3 or 4 foot above the ground, just going off everywhere out there.
Wow.
And that's the weirdest thing I ever seen in my life, is seeing them ground flashes. Just, and not just me seeing them, but David was seeing them. Richard was seeing them. It was crazy. And then there was somebody else come out and said, they were seeing the same flashes out there.
Well, yeah, I've seen them, and the vibrations on the ground out there. That's weird. And
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
That's weird, but
nothing lend towards like orbs or anything, just flashes.
Yeah,
no, they've seen orbs down there too. There's orbs down
there. Yeah. What we were seeing, Jerry, was like somebody was taking pictures with flash cameras, the old-timey flash cameras. That's exactly what it was looking like, just ground flashes, 3 and 4 foot above the ground, just everywhere around us. Yeah.
That's
it was crazy.
That is interesting.
Yeah. But that's Hollins. That's Hollins.
Yeah.
That is one creeped out place. It really is.
Flatrock, when you were having trouble with that one, didn't you say you thought you saw the red lights going around the property at night? Like they were... I know what the red lights are from.
It was when the big brown one, and I told the game warden about it. A few weeks after I told him, right there where I was showed him at, and I got this on film, you could see a flash, keep going off, and it's going around the area that I showed him, and I almost knew what it was, but I couldn't say because it was nighttime, but you could see the infrared flash keep going off. And it ended up being a drone, flying over that little nesting area that they were always going into to watch us from.
Yeah.
But and then after that, it's when they come out here, in the woods back here, and we heard those 2 or 3 days of machine gun fire going off through the woods. And after that, we just never seen that big brown one again.
Now, did you hear them during the day, or did you hear any of that gunfire at night?
Oh yeah, you'd actually, that gunfire was going off during the daytime. It wasn't going off at night. It was going off during the day.
Wow.
And it was basically, half a day. I mean, you'll hear it for a little bit, stop, hour or two, you'll start hearing them machine guns going off again. Stop, and it just keep that process throughout the day. But it happened for 2 or 3 days, doing that. And it was getting further and further away day after day. It was just getting further and further away. And, but we never seen that big brown one again. That big brown one, he didn't care if you seen him or not. He'd come right up on you. I got a trail cam picture when me and a pastor walked out my front door, and we got rifles slung too now. I mean, that's how scary it was at this time. With this big brown around. He was standing right behind us, and we didn't even know it. He was no more than 20 feet behind us when I would come out our front door, walking back this way. He was just right there at the fence line, right behind our backs, and you could see him in that trail cam photo, just right behind our back. He was closer to us than me. He was closer to me than me filming out this window of that one going across that tree. Around that tree, he was closer than that.
Man. Sounds like those guys either had more than one they were messing with, or they didn't have a big enough one, or they were terrible shots. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, that big brown one, he didn't care. He came out daytime. That's when I mostly seen him, was during the daytime, was that big brown one. He loved following my mom around. I didn't know what it was, but that was a real scary moment, having something that big, following my mom everywhere she went. Every time she was in her backyard trying to do some work, that sucker would be right there watching her every time. And I finally got that security camera and actually caught him standing outside that little woods line, looking right there at my mom in the backyard.
That's a
I
good
got that
question.
on little security camera.
What do you think the pastor thought about that?
But he was actually a Bigfoot researcher as well, believe it or not.
Wow.
So yeah, he definitely believed in him, and he is a full-blown pastor. He's still a pastor today. Yep.
My pastor, the church that we go to, unfortunately not as much as we should because of my father's condition, but I brought that up to him one time, the subject, and he immediately went right in, to the giants that were spoke about in the Bible and stuff. That was, he went right to it immediately.
It would be interesting to get a pastor on here to get their, take on that, because
he's right below you.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name's
Flatrock, Jerry, has any of them pastors mentioned anything like Esau in the Bible?
My
No,
conversation
I
is
didn't
extremely
get that
brief.
Esau
He
far
didn't-
with it.
Yeah, I think it's Esau and Jacob. I believe.
No, it was a very quick conversation on my part.
Okay, I just wondered because I mean I've always heard like it could be a descendant of Esau. You know, the hairy one of the brothers that was supposed to get the blessing and didn't, and you know he got tricked out of it. So, but
I've heard that story.
yeah, where Esau was the hairy and he was a man of the forest, the nature, and you know he tended animals, and where his brother was more of a you know around the garden and house and all that kind. So,
Yep.
yeah, I've
He was
studied.
fearful too. He was
What's that?
very fearful. He was really fearful.
Yeah, I mean he was bigger than average. He was hairy, a lot more hairier. You
Yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Esau married into the Edomites. And
Well, Edomites were known to be giant tribe too.
Esau is Edom. Edom
Yeah.
is
they were
Esau.
known to have Rephaim blood in them, which
Yeah.
would be offshoot of the Nephilim. They were known to have that.
Yeah, you've got the Nephilim, the Seraphim, all that, and believe me, I was
Yeah.
preaching that. I was like, "Why you telling me this for, Grandma? I want to watch TV." You know.
So,
I
yeah,
mean,
they were.
even though I'm not there yet with the Nephilim stuff, I mean, I know a lot of my friends are.
Well, I'm
that
not
are
saying it's
Bigfoot.
true, Flatrock. I'm just,
No,
you know,
I'm not.
it's-
I'm just
you know,
going with this here.
I'm just,
you
I've
know,
heard some stuff.
With the
said.
Nephilim, with what you just said, with him, we hear the descendant of the giant that Goliath. I guess that was
Goliath,
his name,
yeah.
Goliath.
Yeah, I believe he had
and,
4 brothers that you never hear of. So
and you know the blood seed of Cain. So all I'm saying is, you know, if the government would actually give us the blood test results of these creatures, which we know they got, you know, the real results of them, because tests have been done numerous times, not just once, not just twice, but I guarantee you, I've heard of 30 tests so far with blood tests, and they just won't let them out.
yeah,
I mean, they're just not going to let them out. And once they do, then we'll know, you know, where they're from, you know, what bloodline, if they're from Neanderthal or any of the others.
yeah. One of my biggest beliefs is the reason the government won't let a lot of this stuff out. I mean, it's just, I ain't saying it's true. It's just, it sounds like a pretty good theory, but some of the stuff they won't let out, it'll prove the Bible's real.
Yeah.
You know,
There you
in my
go. You hit
opinion.
the nail on the head.
It's just my opinion. A lot of stuff on all different subjects. A lot of stuff they won't confirm is because it'll prove the Bible's real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, you know, I may be crazy, but I'm just, that's just my opinion.
It's a good point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And right there to what Ken said, people have heard him say Enoch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I believe Enoch built the pyramid. I mean, if you ever read the book of Enoch, I mean, oh man, you'll find it'll answer so many questions. Just the book of Enoch and the book of Giants alone. Now them books are the apocryphy. You know, everybody knows it ain't the regular Bible, but I mean, it comes to answering questions a lot closer than anything else I've found. So.
That's right, Greg. You're 100% right, buddy.
Yes, right. Yes, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah.
Hey, Ken, he's got a good point. If you look back up here, Pine Knot said maybe they were running them off with the gunfire.
They probably was, but I still believe they killed that big brown one for the simple fact he was, interacting with people and how close he was getting to people and how he wasn't scared to be seen. Yeah. So, I believe they went and killed him.
Maybe they've got him in a containment somewhere.
Hey, if you want to hear of a real capture of a Bigfoot creature, just look up Oh Cheesy Wild Man. They actually captured that one. They took him to Tallahassee. The governor said you wasn't keeping that thing here, so they sent it to a crazy house over in
Yeah.
O'Cheesy,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
that thing is actually buried there up
I
under
think
one
I
of those
do remember hearing
buildings.
that.
So, and that's an absolutely 100% true story. Government does know of these creatures.
Yes, they do. And I think
1000% they know.
I remember hearing that story on Carrie Arnold's.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
100% true. It is.
Well, I mean,
total
when I was in the
fact.
military, oh, I'm sorry, Flatrock, thought you was done.
I'm done, Bubba.
When I was in the military, I was down here at Fort Campbell, and a lot of times, we just let we're on red alert, hopping the choppers, go. We don't know where we're going to drop off at, and then, but you never know if it's going to be real or not until they issue the ammunition. Well, 99 out of 100 times it was blank ammo, just for training. Well, one time, before we hit the LZ, they issued us live ball ammunition. I'm like, crap's on. But we're about to go into hot LZ, and we didn't fly for 30 minutes, and we done a 3-day patrol, and choppers came, picked us up, and flew us back to Fort Campbell. And after we got back, I asked Sergeant, where the heck was we at? And why in the world did we have live ammo? He said, well, none of your business, basically. But we was over at LBL. And that's the first time I ever heard of LBL didn't know it till after we was back. So, and that's the only time I've ever been in a training exercise where we had live ammunition.
So they dropped you in the LBL.
According to the sergeant, he said, yeah. He said, we just came from LBL. I said, yeah, it must have been because we wasn't gone. We didn't fly 30 minutes probably.
I'll be darned.
But that's the only time I was ever issued live ammunition on a training mission here in the States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. So were you there for something, or
Don't know.
just putting you there as a precaution?
Yeah, I think I was a PFC then, so I just done what I was told when I was told, and do it right the first time.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I'd feel a little uncomfortable if they were sending me out with a 223 in some sort of situation like that.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I was carrying the pig, so
Oh,
Nice.
the M60, which they've gotten rid of now. It's from some of my buddies I talked to. It's the M240 now. So
and that is not a 223.
no, a 7.62. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I tell you what, you shoot that thing, buddy. You don't need Viagra. That's the best ED thing there is. Yeah, you rock and roll with that thing for a while. Yeah.
That ain't easy to carry by hand either.
No, it ain't. I mean, I had a sling, thank goodness. And I carried that for 9 months till we got some FNGs back in the platoon. I said, hey, Sergeant, give me the 203 with the M16. I'm good. I'm done. That thing got heavy.
Now, let me
Good for
ask
you.
the group,
Good for you.
do y'all believe these creatures are on our military bases?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we've got stories from around here by the proving ground.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you.
There's an abandoned naval training facility that there's stories from on the river.
Mhm. Now, I know a few guys that were, one guy named Captain Joe. He's a hero out of Iraq. He lost a leg as well. He actually had his encounter on a military base at Todd Neese. He had his on a military base. Now, my best friend, Tyler, he lives over right there beside Eglin Air Force Base. And he gets to talk to a lot of retired pilots over there. Well, this is two different pilots that never knew each other. Both of them told him that almost the exact same thing, that when they go to do their bombing runs, sometimes they got to send crews out to run these creatures off the bombing run so they can actually do the bombing.
Wow.
Yeah.
From two different retired pilots that didn't even know each other, said the exact same thing.
What was it? Kubo said that during some of the shuttle missions, they had
Before the TV crews went live, they
Yeah.
would have to send
they would have to send
their people out there to
they would
clear
have
the
sent
runways.
people and position them out in these canyons because he said it would look real bad if a booger got caught getting hit by a space shuttle.
coming in on live TV. On live
Oh.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there, I remember him talking about they were out doing some. He had heard this from some other guys that they were doing I guess, tank testing, and they saw somebody, come out of the woods on the other end, and you could tell whoever, screaming, waving their arms, and they send a Humvee out to intercept them. And about the time they got there, they realized that this thing was as tall as the Humvee. And the guy on the squad automatic weapon opened up with blanks and scared the shit out of him and everything else, when he saw it. I'm sure that had a bit of rodeo there for a few seconds.
Yeah, you're going out all cocky and all of a sudden, oops.
Yeah.
I think one of the best stories I ever heard was the one he talked about the ranch hand sleeping in that old barn with the 6 steer, and that booger reached up and grabbed the guy by the arm, and he thought it was somebody messing with him that was working there. So he waited and hit it with a cattle prod the next time the arm come up, and that thing tore the barn all to hell and killed the steer, and he was still up in the hayloft, praying for mercy.
Yeah, I ain't heard that one.
Yeah, that was an old one from the Bigfoot Outlaws. They talked about it years ago.
But I mean, I can see how a closed-minded person would not even see and hear what's really going out there in the woods. I can see it because I was there. I was in that position. I was totally closed-minded to these creatures. Totally. So, what Ken's saying, what Ken's saying up there, I mean, I've had to become open-minded because if I didn't believe these creatures existed back then, now I see how real they are. That just showed how closed-minded I was. So, yeah, I've had to open my mind up to other possibilities of these things, and other things. Because I even got a photo, a trail cam photo of something. I can't tell you what it is. I showed over, I guarantee you, 200 people. And we still can't figure out what this is looking in my mother's window.
Well, it's just like the first time I met you, Flatrock. You actually told me you didn't believe in them before that at all. You thought everybody was crazy.
I thought it was people.
Me.
I actually thought it was people doing what they were doing. I really did. Really did.
It makes me wonder how many of those, what I thought were hammer smacks, when I've been back in the woods.
Yep.
Now, some of it could have been the neighbors, but there have been times that I'm like, well, there's no way. Like, and I've even heard talking, and I just thought it was people.
Yep.
I really wonder how many people, that spend as much time in the woods as a lot of us have heard all that stuff and just wrote it off.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like when my mom first moved out here, and something started tapping on her window and then bang on it a little bit and then tap on the window again, and I was on the phone talking to her at the time this was happening because she had called me up when it was. And I told her, just look out the window. It's probably just a kid playing around, Just scare him off, it's just a kid. But she was too scared to open up the window to open up the curtain to see what it was or who it was, and she never would though. But she ended up leaving the property for a couple nights, because it scared her that bad. But now we know what it was. I'm kind of glad she didn't open that window to see what it was. Yeah, I mean, that's also the reason, I sent my wife over to my daughter's house because, again, we thought these were people doing this, and it was getting dangerous. The rock throwing, the walking away from us when we drive in our driveway and pull up to the house, you can hear the walking away, the screaming, when we thought somebody was crossing the yard and we went after them. I mean, it was crazy and it was dangerous at the time, and people were dangerous. We're back here in the sticks. You ain't getting no help anytime soon. Even if you call the cops, you ain't getting no help no time soon. So, being as dangerous as it was, that's why, me and my wife ended up having a 5-year absence with each other because of this stuff. Now she's back. She got over the scaredness of just these creatures being here, seeing that nothing's happened to us. But dang.
Yeah, that night she went out with Pat and Angie. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Well, it's like living with any other animal. It's
yeah.
You don't.
But when you
think
it's people,
them any problems, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah, people are dangerous. These creatures are dangerous in my opinion. But that big brown one was dangerous, and but we see they're not going to harm us right now. I mean, one, you could always get a rogue one to come in to like Big Brownie, and make a stink of everything. But right now, they're out there. They come up. They basically leave us alone. They're not coming to where they're trying to harm us. It just seems like they just trying to get, let us know, hey, we're out here. Keep your distance, keep your boundaries. And that's the way I do things. We just ignore them and let it go.
As long as you're going to respect them, they're.
Yeah.
But you also got to make it clear to them that you're not getting pushed around. So
yeah. I mean, the way we did that, Jeff, is we keep going out there in the woods. When I have people over, we keep going out there in the woods. And we show them, we're not gonna stop going out there in the woods. So, I think that's actually, God saying that we're not backing down. The way it was happening at the beginning, it was like, people were trying to push us off this property. Even though it was them doing it, we thought they was just trying to push us off the property. And they pushed hard. They really, really pushed hard. But, we didn't go nowhere. We resisted. We're still here. They backed down from, mostly being as aggressive as they was from the start. But everything's good now. I'm going to keep collecting, not researching, but just collecting, and let the professionals do the rest.
Yeah, I'm surprised there ain't been more dogman sightings or reports, Flatrock, around your place. And, you got them Indian burial mounds and all that. You hear all the time.
Yeah, we got 2 Indian burial mounds here. Yeah.
Yeah, you hear dogman's always kind of around or related to the Indian burial mounds or something, protecting them or something like that.
Yeah. Now I know these little mounds
when you've lived on a property as long as like my family has, I think they just get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They learn how to live with it. Yeah.
Yep. They have to learn how to live.
And my grandfather, I'll tell you,
that's what we had to do.
I imagine he probably had more stuff going on, because he was, the farm's been in the family for over 100 years, and he was 93 when he died. So he was here for the majority of it. I can guarantee you there was a lot of stuff going on around here that he just kind of let them, But I can guarantee you he wouldn't have took anything lightly if one of them was doing something. He probably would have gone out there and been like, hey. And he was a pretty spiritual guy himself. He was I don't know if I ever told any of you guys this, but he was a water witch.
Oh, really? A
Oh, yeah.
whale witcher?
Oh yeah,
You talking about a whale witcher?
a well witcher.
Yeah, where you find,
And he
Grandpa would
was
always have a
very
whale
good at
witcher
predicting
come.
stuff. He could do the whole crystal thing and all that,
Huh.
And then with the sticks, he could, and he was always, real particular about his sticks. I think I still might still be a couple of them over there at his house, but he was really good at finding water and that kind of stuff. So he might have, been able to sense when these things were around.
You know what's impressed me so far tonight? It's approaching
What,
11 o'clock and you're still awake, Jeff.
That's impressive.
Well, had to get the chew out. Sometimes that helps keep me awake.
Now he got to admit it's been a good conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, if I stop talking for too long, that's the problem. I enter that, dormant stage where
I don't think I've ever seen you do
Yeah, I
that.
tell you that creature that Mark caught in his cornfield, that before and after picture. That's pretty cool there. That's a really good picture, Mark. Really good picture. Really good. You can see that thing's face really good.
This pad on that one.
Yep.
They both
They definitely
watching
caught-
them videos
they-
like a hawk watching a chicken. So they
Yeah.
caught them.
Yeah. It's something's definitely right there in that corn patch looking right back at you. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I never knew they was there. That's the biggest thing.
No.
That kind of freaked me out when I.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
an
see,
attention getter, man.
And we was talking earlier about this woo word, okay? All right. I'll give you another example of woo. Imagine their size, okay? Say from 6 foot to 10 foot, okay? We just got to go in that range. How heavy they are, how wide they are. You think when they walk through the woods, like at my yard, at my property, you got dead leaves everywhere. You got sticks everywhere from falling out of a tree. Don't matter where you step, you're either going to crack a stick or crunch a bunch of leaves. Them things, no matter how big they are, can sneak up on you without the first hint of hearing them and come right in behind your back.
Yeah.
How does something that big not make not one peak of noise? They come up on you like that. That big.
Yeah.
Leaves.
Yeah.
Sticks.
yeah.
You even hear you can hear a fawn walking through the woods and you're gonna hear him, but you won't hear one of these creatures.
Yeah. Flatrock, that's what
people
got
call
me.
that woo.
Yeah. That's what got me in 2019. Is this thing took off in a blink of an eye, and we live in rainforest, man. You cannot move without making sound.
Mhm.
And that was the most profound thing to me was how did this thing leave without one sound? And I mean, gone and not one sound. That's what blew me away.
Yeah. That night, Bud caught that thermal. We didn't hear one sound of that.
Well,
thing
that one.
here.
Yeah, that one
Well,
angel
you
seen
heard
it
that little
25
bit.
feet. Didn't hear it run off at all. Seen it run
Yeah.
off, but didn't hear it. You
Yeah.
know?
Every mimic I've ever heard, and that night I got screamed at, and I got screamed at from 2 different locations. I never heard a sound. Nothing. Even that mimic with the snoring in that tent, hammock, I didn't hear anything move, and that thing couldn't have been 30 yards from me.
That's right, Greg.
Yeah, I've heard Greg say that before. What he just,
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing how they do that. Something that big
yeah.
can do that, but yet a fawn
Yeah.
no more than 20 pounds will make, or even even something smaller than that. Let's say an armadillo. Armadillo make all kind of racket, but yet something 100 times that size not make a bit of sound, not one bit of, not a first stick break, not the first lead crunch, nothing, and just tear right on top of you and gone the next.
Yeah.
How you explain that?
You hear a squirrel coming from 50 yards away,
Yeah,
but yet the 150-pound 8-pointer walks up
Yeah.
behind you, and it's like, oh, hey.
Mm.
and I mean you
Black bears can walk.
and see, and that's why I got a problem with when people say this
That's
word woo. It's not woo, it's reality, to
Yeah.
some people. It's total reality. And they just don't understand it because they don't live in it. They don't live this. And it's hard, but to understand how they doing it, but they're doing it. And it is a woo thing. If you really want to look at it, it is a woo thing because they figured some way to do it that nobody else in the world, not even the first real, a wildlife animal could do. Not even a cat can not make that much noise, but yet something that big won't make a sound. I don't get it. Don't get it.
I don't like you enough, Patrick.
They just master of the woods.
Master
That's
of the woods, exactly.
It's amazing how big animals can move around and you don't hear them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's like Greg and I have talked about the deer. You won't see a deer, and then all of a sudden it's like out in the middle of the field, one just appears like it rose up out of the ground or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Agree, Michael. I agree with that. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. You got all these people saying there's no such thing as woo, but yet they're not living with these creatures on their property. They're not experiencing what others are experiencing neither.
Right.
So really, they're the ones who are the closed-minded folks that don't want to understand what reality really is.
Yeah.
They just want to keep to their narrative, and their narrative, just like ours is ours.
Yeah, until that narrative slaps them in the face.
Exactly, just like it did me and my family. Slapped us right in our face.
Yeah,
This
getting
other's property is a whole
screamed at
different
will do
ballgame.
that to you.
Yes, sir.
Multiple
Yes,
levels
sir.
of curiosity with these things, that's for sure.
Yep.
And what
It
they
always
can
makes me
and
laugh when I
can't
hear people trying to explain it away, and I'm like, how are you explaining that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they tell you this is what you saw, and they'll be going like, that ain't what I saw.
Yeah.
They try to convince you saw something
Or
else.
you heard an owl, or you heard this, or I'm like, owls don't weigh 1,000 pounds, and they don't scream like a train horn.
Yeah.
Come see what I've seen, and I show, and then tell me they ain't 1,000 pounds. Because the one I seen, a couple of them I seen is bigger than a bull, a full-grown bull. Don't tell me they're not 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, the tracks that I found in dry ground, you got it. Something has to weigh a lot to leave that kind of an
Oh,
impression.
yeah.
I mean, you can't fake that.
No.
Mhm.
I couldn't even leave an impression in the dirt next to it, and my fat 200 and I'm not going to let on too much, but it's in the 260 range. But I'm just gonna roll down the hill away from it if something happens. Short and wide.
Well, like that footprint I found back in February, I tried to make an imprint just like it the day I
Yeah,
found it, and I couldn't leave an imprint. And
you
I weighed
showed me that
300
one, and I don't see how anybody could leave an imprint next to that.
Yeah, that ground's pretty hard all through there, you know. So
Well, I can assure you, Blue Eyed, if I hear the whistling, I'm not going towards it.
That's right, Greg.
I'll tell you one thing, if I start hearing my name in the woods where I'm going next weekend, I ain't going up there anymore. Jeff, you want to go back to Western Maryland? Well, it depends on where we're going. They asked me that question. It's funny because that place in West Virginia, two of us decided after the rock throwing and everything else that we were not going back to that.
Ouch.
All right, moderators, could you please block Patrick for me?
oh man.
Man. Well, we're heading on to the 3-hour mark here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess so. Geez.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
What do
we
you
never
think?
don't have fun, so.
This is true. This is true. What do you think, David?
I don't do much of that. We're here in Oregon. It's been a great show, man.
Yeah. Yep. 3 great
Yeah.
guests, man.
I want to know if any of y'all guys in the
Yeah, right.
woods have heard this percussion sound before. You know, I had Stacy and some friends over here. They was doing some researching, and I was already in the house, you know, getting close to bedtime when Stacy had texted over the phone that he's hearing knocks out there. And when I pulled the recording, this is percussion bangs. You tell it ain't gunshots. It's like, yo, bang, bang, yo. So I'm going to play this here if I can pull it up and tell me if y'all have actually heard this sound out there. Yeah, here it is. Maybe turn my speaker on. It's 2-minute audio, so there it is. Does it 7 times.
Big booms.
Yeah, deep boom. Yeah.
I always feel like I've heard that before.
Here, down here through the holler, yeah.
But yeah, I heard those them percussions lasted, you know, off and on for about 2 weeks, and then just completely stopped. Some of them were, you know, boom, 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 and some of them were like that right there, spaced out. You know, so I was just wondering if anybody ever heard those like that. out there in the woods when they was out there like hunting or,
A couple of them sounded like depth, like when you take a rock and throw it out on a frozen pond.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it
Yeah,
matches
that
up with
initial
the
sound you hear can hear the
Yeah.
depth, so to speak.
Yeah.
A couple of those actually sounded
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It almost
the
sounds
hollow
like when
sound,
I've
yeah.
heard, just rocks thrown into the river.
Yep. I mean, they got that percussion sound to it. Boom.
Yeah.
Then like a reverberating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've
Any,
been in the
Mark,
pyro, and Pyro is one who told me, he could hear how the percussion was on those bangs, and that's the perfect word for it, the percussion sounds of those bangs, and it's just nuts, just nuts. Just some of the more stuff that goes on around here, It only lasted for a short while, then it just stops. You don't hear them no more till the next time they come around and do it again.
Oh, he is awake. Okay. Well, his head was leaning to one side. I thought, did we just catch Mark snoozing?
At least I'm not getting blown up on the screen tonight.
Yeah.
Was they,
We'll have to put a red circle around him.
is they any quarries around there or anything?
No, sir. No, sir. None.
We've got quarries around here, but they're
And that's what that sound reminds me of, Mark. When I was over at when I stayed the night over at David's house, I could hear those sounds up on that mountain around that quarry.
Yeah.
But we don't. There's no quarries, no digging of anywhere around here. None.
Yeah.
None. And these are late at night,
Right.
when they happen. They never happen during the daytime. It's only at nighttime.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
They really. I know out the quarries, they got them big rock busters. It's a big headache ball on an excavator, and they'll, them old boulders about the size of a house or about the half size of the house, they'll start hitting them with that. And when you like up on Creepy Mountain and hearing it when they're doing it, I mean, it's got a weird sound. But the only reason I know what it is because when I used to work out there, I've actually rode up on the hill right below where they was doing it and watch them slang that old ball over and hit them, And then later on, they come out with these rock punchers. It's a big old hydraulic, got a big shaft, but now you can tell it because it'll go do 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 do, And but yeah,
I remember that when they were doing the new power line towers, they had some rock they had to bust up, and man, they worked away on that thing for weeks, just trying to get that. We've got it ain't surface rock. That's what the drillers were from, out in Oklahoma. They're we'll just bust through this stuff real quick, and we started laughing at them. And they were up on that ridge for weeks, pounding away at that thing, just trying to get it so they could drill a hole in there for the new tower.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Flatrock, Pat's got a point there.
Yeah, that's why I was saying no, because it was a lot closer than the bridges.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was over there by the creek where the banging was, and there's nothing down there at the creek but woods. You've been there.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, and that creek's a lot of sand too. It wouldn't make that kind of a sound.
No. No, it sounds like what it is. It's like y'all said, a boulder slamming up against something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like. Boom. Boom.
Yeah, it sounds like you're hitting a rock.
Yeah.
Flatrock, have you ever heard like the metallic bong sounds? Like the metallic sounds?
I've heard metallic, yeah.
Same here.
The main metallic sounds I hear is like something being thrown at a gas. Mr. Bobby's got one of them gas things like Greg's got.
The big LP tanks?
Yeah, one of them gas tanks.
I got one out here.
You can hear them when they're tossing rocks and hitting that thing.
Yeah.
Bang! And
Like if you're riding past it on a lawnmower and you launch a rock into the side.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think I've got a recording of something that sounds like it's hitting a drum. A metal drum.
That's what
Right.
I've heard here on the
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, I got a recording of that somewhere down in my folder.
Yeah,
I got it recorded too.
You heard that the night I fell asleep, David, when it smacked Greg's
Yeah, it was loud. And you could tell it was that propane tank.
Yep. Yeah.
Ding,
Oh, yeah.
it
Definitely
just
tell
makes
when it's
that-
a propane tank.
Yeah, it makes a certain sound.
Yep.
I've dinged stuff off of propane tanks. I've listened to my grandfather launch rocks across the yard too, but I went a little too close to the driveway or whatever. But I actually got hit by one of those rocks once or whatever he run over.
Oh man.
Yep.
Worst
It
part
feels
was
good.
I was bent over, took one right in the keister while
Oh man.
Well, it's better than the front side.
I thought I got
That's right.
everybody that was standing out by the barn when it happened. They thought I was going down. I was looking for a weapon because I thought I just got shot or something. It startled me so bad, I actually grabbed a hold of a shotgun I had on the rack on the back of the four-wheeler. I was like, what?
That'd been a little rough if you'd been zip lining them, wouldn't it?
Oh boy. Ooh.
Well, it's hard to protect yourself when you're naked,
Oh, man.
Oh boy. Oh.
Flatrock didn't believe me when we first talked about that. He had to ask me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you really do that? Yeah.
I don't know where he came from. He ain't from this county, so
You always
don't worry,
gotta be
Roger. We're not
sure.
going to beat your record.
Not yet, anyway. We've
Close,
done
we're
4
within
hour
4
shows.
hours. Oh
We've
yeah.
done 4 hours.
The big one's coming. Don't worry. We're just waiting on the right episode.
Don't worry, Roger. We'll invite you to your demise. So
It's okay,
Probably
Jeff.
do
We'll
that
stay
on
up
a Saturday night or something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to do it in the middle of the week. Shoot. No.
Michael X said Jeff was making like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Something bit me.
Directly in the buttocks. He was from Greenbow. You know where Greenbow is, Mark?
Greenbow.
Greenbow, Alabama.
I think that was a made up name, I think.
Sure it was. I'm sure.
That's
it was.
supposed to been down around Mobile down in there, where that movie was supposed to be based out of.
Well, there's a 3-hour mark, Jeff.
Yep. And I'm still awake. We did something right tonight.
Guys, it's been real, man. Appreciate everybody coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you asking.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
had a good time. Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It's
glad
always
David.
nice to get a whole group together for.
I mean, I'm glad David contacted me again. Asked me if I wanted to come on, and of course, I told him back. If y'all need somebody, sure I'll come on. And I'm glad y'all brought Bud and Mark Wood, on as well.
It's not a fact
Yeah.
of need. We wanted to hear from you
Yeah,
Yep.
because we know you got very much activity. So
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
yeah. I mean, I could play audio for 3 days and still have some left over.
It's amazing. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Well, Flat Rock's mom's got some awesome stories too. If you probably won't get her on, but
You all.
if you can never get her talking about it, if you're ever down there, she's got some great stories too.
Well, like you
Wow.
say, you got them looking in her windows at her. So
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm looking forward to going to these campouts and some of these festivals to talk
But
to
the
people.
thing is, Jerry, we don't know what was actually looking in that window. We don't know what it is. It's not a Bigfoot. I can tell you that right now. It's
That's
not.
creepy. Oh boy.
I'll send you that trail cam photo, and you tell me what that thing is.
Oh boy.
You
Well, I
won't never
can't wait to
guess
see
it.
this.
You won't never guess it.
Keep on. I want to be boarding all my windows up here. Ain't nothing gonna look in on me.
I
Man.
think
gonna
he's
be
more
like-
these bigger than dog men.
It's gonna be like Bud when he goes camping with Reinhardt.
Well, Reinhardt, he's going to Mark's first. Hopefully I can get
Yeah.
up there a day to hang out there with all of them, and
Yeah, it'd be great.
then they could be
Flatrock.
coming all here, and we're gonna sit around, campfire, eat some good food, and wait for them old critters to walk on in.
Yeah,
That's it. That's it.
that's the plan anyway.
Yeah.
Get back,
And
relax.
that's how it works
That's
for
it.
me. I just act like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's the best way to go.
Y'all lives just so daggum far away. Well,
Yeah,
Of course.
but if you really want that encounter, it ain't really that far.
that's true. That's a good point. That's
And,
right.
Just need
and,
to take a-
and if you was retired, Jerry, you could go about anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Y'all just
At
need
least we
to
ain't 3,000 miles away. So
Yeah.
save about a week's vacation and come down.
Yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
bad thing
look at-
about David and Dee Dee. I just hate them being so far away. I mean, I got to meet them at LBL
Yep.
that last time, and yeah, great folks.
I mean, look at the
Yeah,
stops
it
y'all
was-
can make, Jerry. First come into Coombo's, spend a day or so,
yeah,
head over to Greg's,
Mhm.
that to the man cave, then head over to Mark's, coming straight down Alabama.
Yeah.
yeah,
Then stop over at my house,
Yep.
for a couple of days. Then stop over at Bama BF Miss Joyce.
Mhm.
She's got them in her yard too. And there was somebody else.
Mr. Dale.
Mr.
Yeah.
Dale Boswell, exactly. He's a little east of us. Yeah, east of us.
I think I
right?
need more than a week.
I mean,
No.
I've just named only a few here in Alabama with
Yeah.
these creatures in their yard. Just a
Have
few.
RV will travel. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, all the places I've been, tell you what, buddy, Alabama's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list. I'm coming down. No doubt
I
about it.
haven't camped anywhere in my vicinity that I haven't had something weird happen as well. Unless we're like in like an RV park or something. I haven't had that yet, but
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, if you come down, you gotta get in a hammock over in the high grass area.
okay.
You have to zip line into it.
Yeah,
And while you're out there, you have to holler War Eagle.
that's it. Yeah.
With
So I
women.
won't-
Don't say
But
that
once
when you're in
that word
Alabama.
said, I
You better
know
say Roll
Mark's a-
Tide.
I know
Yeah.
Mark's an Auburn fan, but if that
Oh, are you,
word
Mark?
said, if Jeff ever said that, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah.
I'm-
I always tease Flatrock because he's
I'm
a
not a
big Bama
sports
fan,
guy,
so-
so you'll be safe.
Me and Kumbo both Auburn fans.
That's
Oh,
it.
really?
Sure
Okay.
enough. Yeah. We love that stuff at Alabama Auburn stuff.
Yeah.
I love talking that. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
There's
about
some
like-
good, there's some good
Michigan.
conversations here.
You
Football
ain't
season
kidding.
around here.
It can get a lot of people fighting too, can't it, Mark?
Yeah, they've had killings over it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first time going down to your place, Flat Rocks, I told Angie, I said, hey, get off the highway. Let's take one of these back roads and stop at some mom and pop store. Is I want to hear these older ladies' accents. Love it. And
Yeah.
so we went and pulled in the mom and pop store, and I walked up and whispered to the cashier, said, hey, is this War Eagle or Roll Tide country? She goes, oh, honey, you better say Roll Tide. I was like, wow. I mean, you guys take it serious. Just like up here, some people are crazy, between Ohio State and Michigan. It's some of my buddies are just nuts. They're crazy.
Yeah. Hey,
Ohio
I
State
was-
loses, they
I
call
was-
in sick the next 3 days.
when I was down at my son's house this past weekend, before I went up to the conference, we went over to a shop, it's got all these sporting goods, got all the hats and all that stuff. And, and Florida State's big over in Tallahassee. And I get in there, and, of course, there's no Alabama hats or Auburn. So, with my son standing right beside me, I embarrassed the crap out of him, but I walked up to the counter. I said, "Boy, Alabama must be big here in Tallahassee." And they looked at me. Said, "Why is that?" I said, "Cause y'all sold out of all the Alabama gear."
Hey, congratulations, Win Clan Ken.
Sorry.
That's
There you
amazing.
go, Ken.
If y'all ever come here, there's a store right up above me here. It's called the Bama store. And that's all they got is Bama
Yeah.
merchandise.
Yeah.
And that guy keeps a business going. He sells stuff, buddy.
Really?
Well, Alabama
here.
is also the home of the pink Cadillac.
Yeah. All we hear up
Can't be
his
worse than
here
that,
is
Mike.
we are Penn State.
Good job, man.
Yeah,
are
we're
Penn
in that, Maryland PA rivalry territory between
Maryland Terrapins, the
the
Steelers and the Ravens.
Steelers and Ravens, and
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Miss Catherine.
Well,
Mark
Jerry,
Mark and I were actually talking about when the Indianapolis Colts, packed up ship
packed
and
up
moved
left.
into the cover of darkness to
Headed to Indianapolis. Yeah.
yeah.
middle of the night.
They used to be the Baltimore Colts, and they moved overnight,
Yeah.
pissed off the whole fan base, and there wasn't
Oh boy. Yeah, I remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
The news
I can
covering
remember
that, watching them buses leaving town.
Yeah,
loaded
Mark,
up.
that was quite a sore backside for the state when that happened. I think I
Yeah.
told you that.
Yeah, I imagine it was. That's probably a big money maker at left, too.
How long was it before we got a new team, Jerry? It was a few years, wasn't it?
Wasn't that long, really. I mean, it was. Of course, look, they were Cleveland Browns. So what we got was the Cleveland Browns. So Cleveland Browns.
Hey fellas, I'm sorry. I got to go. I got to go pick my boy up at work. He just got off. So, like I said, thank you for inviting me, Flatrock, Mark.
Yep, we'll see you,
Hey,
buddy.
Everybody,
Here,
love
bud.
you guys.
Appreciate it, bud. Thank you.
And Jerry, and I'll see you guys over here.
Hopefully. Yep.
Mary
Yep.
Fabian's thing here in a couple weeks. So,
Yep.
thank yous all.
Take care.
See you,
Thank you.
bud.
Pat's over here. West Virginia beats Maryland all the time.
What's that?
West Virginia beats Maryland all the time.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get over to Ken's house.
Well, Roger's back.
We're gonna go hit a couple of his little hot spots over there around Bloomington area, and over in Laverne area and places like that. He can show me some spots around there, and I really look forward to that. So
Roger's
Ken's a
over
really
here.
good guy. That's who you really need to get on the program is Wild Clan Ken. That's who you need to get on here as well.
I agree.
That man's full of info.
Who is it? I'm sorry.
Ken Chivers.
Oh yeah. I think Jeff was talking about that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll start rounding people up out of the chats here soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
Well,
one. I got one coming from the chat next week.
He's also a historian, so he's got a lot of stuff he could say. A lot of stuff.
Who do we have next week, Jeffrey?
That would be Wyatt Estes. You guys see him in here.
That's right. Right. Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on,
I just saw him.
He's in Arkansas, and he goes out with DA and Robbie a good bit.
Mhm.
He's usually in charge of getting them boated into wherever they got to access by boat. He's found some pretty good tracks and stuff too.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Haywood.
Yeah, Haywood's in the house.
Yeah, that's
What recipe?
That's
are we
a good
talking
dude
about?
there now. I got to meet him. I finally got to meet him at the meet and greet. He's great. He's great.
He's a good guy.
You gotta love dudes like him. He's great.
Yep.
Well, hopefully one of these days I
Man
get
can
to
make
meet
it.
old Billy Schilling.
I guarantee you, old Haywood can make a dang raccoon laugh. Yeah, I mean that dude he's funny. I mean
We've had
he
some
can
conversations
talk it.
before. He's usually got me cracking up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of info.
Roger's
Yeah.
sweating. Roger's safe.
Right.
Yeah, he's safe.
Don't worry, Roger. We're gonna get you.
Gosh, I fall behind chats so easy. Listen to you all, and I look over and boom, there's a whole nother list of new chats. I can't believe there's almost 80 people in here still.
Yeah,
There you
everybody
go.
get over there and smash the like button. I'm only seeing 20 likes on the show for some reason.
And we lost Gary. Where'd Gary go? He was in here earlier.
He probably had to go moderate some like 18
Yeah.
other channels that he's
I know he's a busy person.
Yeah.
God bless him.
I can go through 4 to 5 chats in a night and find Gary in all 5 of them.
I'm looking up and I see double sevens right now on my screen. My screen counts because that's the official screen.
Sounds like hey.
Now it says 80. Now I'm up to 80. Yep. All right. Mark's looking tired. We gotta get out of here.
I'm good.
Poor Mark.
I'm good.
Southern goodbye.
The night's still young over in Davies World.
8:30 almost. Woo!
8:30. Oh my Lord, it's 11:30 here.
Well, I did get up at 3:30 this morning, so
Wow, that's early for you.
yeah.
Yeah, I was up at 4:30 this morning. So
Hey.
I was texting old Jeff early this morning, asking if he was out there milking cows yet.
Not that early. He wasn't out of bed yet.
I had my kid today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. We appreciate everybody coming on. Appreciate everybody in chat. I hate to leave at 81. Just hit 81. Now we're back to 80. I can't believe there's that many people in here. It's like tells you where everybody lives. They live in some other zone other than Eastern.
Yep.
So it's cool.
Could
We'll
be
be back
people
next
just getting
week.
off work, all kind of stuff. So
Probably. Yeah. Anything
Yeah.
else, Mark? You got anything else you want to say? Or
I'm good. I appreciate you letting me come on a little while. I always love to come on with y'all, and
We'll have
Good
to
to
do a Mark Green specific show one night. We haven't done that
Yeah.
yet.
we will. We'll get him.
but
Thank you,
enjoyed
Mark, for coming
seeing
on,
all
brother.
y'all tonight and everything.
Yeah.
Most time I'm at work, so I can't join in. So except in chat. So bad thing about chat is I get to watch a minute, then we'll get a call, and I have to stop and go, come back. And then a lot of times y'all done gone off. Time I come back or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and with your luck, somebody will break something, and
yeah, that's typically what happens. Yeah. I got
So you
lucky a couple times last week. I got to stay in some chats for a little while. Everything stayed quiet, and it kind of worked out. So,
no hornet's nests.
yeah.
This Friday night, got a show, Mark?
Yeah. Well, maybe doing it from the grist mill if everything goes right.
Okay. Cool.
So,
Yep. Check it out. Cedar Creek Bottoms this Friday night. That'll be what 7 Central.
7 Central. Yeah.
7 Central.
If everything goes good, they did flood up at the grist mill. I went up there today, but the water had done receded. I talked to the old boy about, doing the fire pit Saturday night. Told him I was on camp. He said, "Yeah, you'll probably be all right." He said, "It ought to be dried up plenty enough in here, by Saturday or Friday." So, but he told me just come back by Friday morning to double check. So when I get off work, I'll go by there and make sure everything's good.
The boogers might have floated downstream a little bit.
Yeah. Well, they lost some stuff at the grist mill. They had a pavilion that took off down the creek and
Whoa.
lost some other stuff. So he said they ain't even found it yet. They ain't even went down creek looking for it
It's
yet.
probably going to be a good crappie habitat, is what it's going to happen to it.
Yeah.
You might want to go find that and start fishing around it, Mark.
I mean, I asked him how the fishing was. He said the fishing ain't been too good so far, but he said between 2 big floods, in 3 weeks, he said
Yeah.
everything stirred up,
My buddies have been having a really good run with trout right now because trout's in. So that last big rain though washed the creek, so I'm sure it muddied it up enough for a few days. That I have to ask Josh if he's been back to catching them or not. But I know he took a few days off there when that last big rain. We've gotten some pretty good rain here the last few days.
Oh yeah. I will, Wendell. I'll let everybody know for sure. Everything. So.
Chad and Erica will have show number 2 this coming Sunday, I do believe.
Yep.
That's at 5. That's 5:00 Central.
And everybody go check out Cryptid Fan 94 now that he's starting to do his.
I don't know if he's going every Friday, but I know it'll be at a later. It'll be after Cedar Creek. So
Yeah.
Yep.
We really enjoyed going on and helping him out with his first one.
Yep. That's cool. I ain't got to watch it yet. I'll try to get back when I get a chance and catch it.
This is the first live he's done.
Yeah.
Before it was just, recorded.
Yeah, it's his first podcast. Yeah.
I love
Matt
Chad.
Rock, try to come up Saturday if you can.
I will. This Saturday? This coming Saturday?
Yeah, this coming Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try to get up there, Mark. Yeah, because I got to take my wife to my daughter's house because she got a doctor's appointment in Florida Monday. So, yeah, I can probably get up there. Keep me from being here by myself. Give me
Anybody else wants to come? I know a lot of folks live way off, but if you want to come, more likely we'll be there at your grist mill. So, yeah.
I'll be there. What time? Friday? Count
you
me
got to be
in.
at the grist mill, Mark?
Yeah.
Or at your house? At the grist mill, okay. Saturday at the
Yeah,
grist
if
mill. What
everything
time?
if everything goes right, I'll be at the grist mill. And if I ain't, I'll let everybody know for sure.
Problem
Don't,
is our-
we'll be
What time?
6 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 o'clock, okay.
David, come on over. Yeah, pulling season starts Saturday. I don't think I can get back in time.
Yeah,
On
once
Saturday.
your pulling season starts, Jerry's he's the man about.
Run. It starts this Saturday. So. Yep. All right.
Are you going Pennsylvania, Jerry? Is that where you're going?
No, Leonardtown, Maryland. Way down
Okay.
St. Mary's County, down along the bay.
More bugger country.
Yep. All farmland down through there. Yep. Swampy, flat farmland.
Yeah, I want to hear more about that supposed Bigfoot sighting up in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have y'all looked that up any?
No, we're going through.
No, not yet. I've been kind of
Y'all got a
slim here
goat
lately.
man,
I
too,
haven't
or
got
something up
much.
there.
Try that again.
Y'all got a goat man or something up there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that story is
Yeah.
that's been out for a while. That particular one that you shared, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
reading about that. Yeah, it's another one of them lures or legends from up here. So.
Goatman, Snallygaster, the Dwayne,
Snallygaster,
Maryland
Dwayne.
Dogman.
Let me
But
say
Maryland
this
don't have
last thing,
anything.
Jerry.
Sure.
I tell a lot of people, dogs are our best tool for these boogers.
Oh,
And the reason I'm going to say that, I want to go out and say it, playing this one audio of how these creatures will also cause your dogs to react. And a lot of y'all have probably heard this before. Your dogs do this, just start howling for no reason. And this recording I got,
Okay.
will show you why our dogs are howling the way they do, how they just go completely nuts. And it's really, really good. You'll hear this old creature out there in the woods stirring our dogs up. And there's a lot of dogs here, okay? But they love to stir up the dogs. That's true. That's not That's what they do. It goes on. They
Wow.
get even crazier.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, that's one out in the woods just going whoop, whoop, and right before the dog started going in that howling stage,
Yep.
that thing was kept it as a long whoop, and then got those dogs a howling the way they did. But that's what they
Yeah,
do.
they're in total
And
control.
dogs are
Yep.
great tools. Yep, dogs are great tools for these creatures. They will let you know one way or another.
Oh yeah, they will.
That's,
They will.
that's insane.
Yep.
All you can do is live with them, I guess.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
They're in control.
Listen to your pets. Always listen to your pets.
It's good advice. Okay. All right, gentlemen. All good, David?
Good, man.
Okay. Jeffrey? Jeffrey's still awake. I'll jot this down. Man.
Yeah, it is.
All right. We appreciate everybody in chat tonight. We love y'all. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Sounds like we're going to have Wyatt Estes on here. So
There we go.
And then the next morning, I'm leaving at the butt crack of dawn to head to Western Maryland.
only Jeff.
Good luck out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a
That's the
feeling
tape on the
between
road, Bubba.
Mary's camp out and next weekend, I'm going to have something to talk about.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, hopefully y'all get a good encounter over there.
Yeah,
The
Mary.
show's
That's
got a
what I
long
thought.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the first time Mary's bunch is actually really camped out in there. They don't have too many people, doing research in that part of the state, so it'll be.
Yeah. Well, y'all stay in small groups if y'all go out in the woods. Too large of a group will push them things on away from you. Y'all
Well,
go
there's
out in the
there's
woods,
going to
stay
be
in
three of
small
us
groups.
about 2 miles off the road here next week, so. And that's right where I had all the stuff last time I was in there, so it'll be.
Yep.
I'm going to try to take some of my Bigfoot and equipment with me, fit everything in my gigantic bag that I got to tote in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Just be careful too, though.
Yep.
All right, boo. I'm coming, buddy. I'm coming.
Yep. All right.
I'm coming.
We'll see everybody next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Right, Davey?
Yep.
All right. Thank you again, Mark. Flatrock.
Later, everybody.
Bigfoot Bud. Even though he's
Y'all have a
already
good
gone.
night.
Thank you,
Night,
Mark.
everybody.
Thanks, Flat Rock. Appreciate it.
Enjoyed it, guys.
Thank you.
Yep. You guys have a good night.
All right. Bye bye.